Perfect. That's what we need. Hello everyone and welcome to Yorkshire Tea XP, brewed in the heart of Yorkshire by three MFL-obsessed managers. Myself, Big Mr K, Rootcoors and Bruce Leet. Before we kick things off though, just a reminder, we're not pundits, we're not pros. We're just three lads with a shared obsession for progression, tactics and agency building in MFL. So each week we'll look to bring you laughs, insights, chaos and cuppers, tracking our journeys from raw to rare and beyond. So, we're going to try and... Well, not going to try, I'm not even going to try and bullshit you boys. We're not going to keep it under 2 hours. We never keep it under 2 hours, so prepare to be locked in for the next 2 hours. We'll have a quick catch-up about how this last week's gone. We'll have a quick sort of club progress over the course of this season so far. Now we've hit the halfway stage, and cup fixtures were just out if you're out of the group stages. We'll go through our topics of the week, so we'll talk about the Rabid play sessions that took place. We'll talk about the Season 10 match engine as well, because we had that announcement. We'll move on to Tactics Corner, talk about any play progression related things, any community questions, because we've had a few thrown in, and Root could be asked to add them to this week's agenda, and then we'll have a quick wrap up and talk about next week's pod. So then, gents, how are we doing? How's the last week of MFL gone? And Root, nice to see you could be asked turning up to our podcast.
Well, we may as well start there then, have we?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Good.
Yeah, I'm good. I've been really good. Just had probably the best recording of a pod of the season. No, I'm just joking. Sorry, don't kick me out. No, I'm good. I've literally just come off the back of like really busy time at work, and I've only got half a week at work next week, and then I've got a couple of days off just to re-energize myself before I do like the run into Christmas. So personal wise, like it's been a real busy time, and then MFL wise, still going okay, which we'll touch on when we get to the clubs. But yeah, I'm in a good place. But yeah, elephant in the room. Just done a manager spotlight with Jimbo, which was nice. Did miss you two though, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, probably Bruce more.
That's understandable.
To be perfectly honest.
That's also understandable.
That's just given, isn't it? That's just a given.
Yeah.
How about you two?
Next question.
Next question.
Moving swiftly on. I'm
Yes,
good, mate. I'm good, mate. All good. Busy. It's been busy myself. To be honest, I've been trying to spend the mid-season window stuff tactic testing, and I'm glad I did now because obviously it's on our topic of the week, which we'll come on to. But obviously the dev update came out, and they're saying that they're going to keep the majority of this season's match engine going into next season for the first time. I think they'll still do tweaks that they're talking about. Bruce, I know, just chill. But that's the first we've had of that, and I'm glad we don't have to put all that time and effort in to try and sort of divvy things up, try different things, like invest a bit more time into a tactic that I'd done pre-season that I thought was good at the start, and then midway I was thinking, it's not working the way I thought it was going to, or I thought when testing it would. So I've been having a good old test around, and I'm glad I put the time and effort in mid-season, because usually I don't bother. But yes. Right then, let's get into things swiftly. I can sense the tone that we're going to have this week. We're going to move on.
Well, I'm not.
I love it.
I've got enough ranting to do this pod. Like, honestly, I'm not going to do it now. Like,
excellent. So, obviously, there was the mid-season break. We've just come back from the mid-season break. We've had our first round of league fixtures for the second half of the season. If you made it through to is it last 16 when you go out, when you get through the cup, isn't it? It's last 16 that we go into. We've just had those fixtures this evening. Before the recording, we just had my last one taking place that I had in there. Weirdly, my Stone team, their cup fixtures are after all the main ones. I don't know why, it's just been the way through. And they lost on penalties. It was the world's most boring game. But I tell you what, them penalty shootouts were quite fun to watch. It was a good laugh, that. Because you might be able to tell by my tone, I wasn't highly invested in that one. The one that I was successful, and one other that I was kind of hopeful, but I needed to rotate, also successful. So, yes, I've got a fellow community member in the next round of the Cup, which is going to be exciting, but we'll cover that when we get to it. But we've had the pack drop, we've had various other bits and bobs as we've moved along. So, let's have a quick overview of how clubs are going. Any of you boys want to jump in on that one?
Can I just get mine over and done with?
Yes, please.
That's the spirit. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so
take as much of this section as you need, mate. You just let it all out.
I won't take long. Right, so we'll start with Yorkshire Tea XP, where we are currently top. Ignore these results because they're the Rabid play. We lost our first game last night. against Broke FC, who are now 8th.
And they haven't won in 6 games or something. What's
Mate,
that all about?
I can't. I mean, I'm going to talk about this later, but I can't make sense of it because here, look, we smashed them 3-0. Then this team here, who were literally top for most of the season, they were top most of the season. We smashed them 3-1. We played them in the second one. We came back. We won 3-0, and then we go lose 2-1 to this team. And I mean, this isn't the first time I'm going to show this. I mean, it's fairly even, but why, when you compare their team to my team, it's, yeah, okay, fine. So we lost our first game, but we are still top. We're thanks to these guys being late registration, so they're minus a point. But the thing is, I'm not worried about playing these teams. It's not these teams I'm worried about playing. It's these teams I'm worried about playing. Like, so, you know, I think, you know, we'll probably beat all these guys and then lose 1-0 to this guy at the bottom or something. But yeah, move then on to the Fortress. Still the same issue that I had before of just lack of goal scoring, though we have turned it around in this second half. 2 wins in a row. We're through to the quarterfinals of the Cup. We're up into the playoff spots. I'm going to talk more on this later in Tactics Corner because there's something I've found that, yeah, I'll talk about it more. So as long as we don't get promoted, but I am still aiming for promotion. But I do think this is the ceiling for this team. But it's looking okay. It's, you know, we seem to be stabilising, but consistency is fleeting. Then on to Clairvaux. Won the first game back against bottom of the league. Love scraping a 1-0 win against bottom of the league. We then played Voodoo FC, who are also in the relegations, as you can see. And once again, let me just show you this. Complete domination. They had 2 shots on target. Haven't won in 5. Those are their ratings in compared to mine. And this just icing on the cake. This was their goal. This was the goal they scored. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, let me make it bigger. This was the goal. Cheers, man. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, they happen. I get it. But what I'd feel a lot better about is if they banged it and it went in like the corner and my keeper was like stood still and it just flew in the top corner. But no, it went straight at him. And it went in. And again, when you look at these ratings, they really shouldn't have had any business being in the game against me. 0.15 XG. Yes, I know XG doesn't mean everything, but it's just the annoying thing is it's like because upsets happen. I get it, but there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it because this team have lost loads of games in a row. They suddenly beat me, and then I can almost guarantee they'll go on another losing streak. It's like there's no, they've beat me and then they'll spare on and carry on and, you know, get another couple of, it just seems random, like random loss. There you go. We did get through quite comfortably in the Cup though, so that's another team who are in the quarterfinals. And then we come to Black Mamba. And again, ignore this because this is all Rabid play, but this is the game back. We lost 1-0. Again, you know, I've said teams can take points off this. This is a mad division. We then drew 1-1 with Victoria last night and then lost 1-0 in the Cup. I've fully rotated my team because my next games are against 3rd and 4th. And I'm like, my team isn't strong enough to be messing about in the Cup. I need to focus on the league, getting promoted, getting into playoffs. So, you know, fully rotated my team. We only lost 1-0. I'm not too fussed about that. But yeah, tight, super tight. Monkey was 6th, and now he's back up on goal difference. He's gone on, put a cheeky message in the group Discord that we all have together. It was pretty funny. So this is going to be a fun run-in. And what's mad is both of us are 1st and 2nd right now, but if we both have a couple of bad games, we could both be 7th. Like, it's insane how close this is. This is what I imagine it's like in Diamond, which is good because one day I hope to be in Diamond, I hope to be competing in Diamond, and stuff like this will prepare me for it, I think. So I'm not too bad. It's just so tight. It's so tight. I suppose the other thing I need to talk about is bought a pack in the pack drop, and I'm strongly considering never doing it again. I bought a rare pack. I got this guy, 1955 rated goalkeeper. Pretty good pull. Nice.
6'2" as well. Yeah.
6'2". That's a good
Yeah,
good pull
yeah.
for a limited
Solid
player.
that.
Pretty good. And then I get my uncommon player. I get a 67 rated centre back who's 28. Yeah. So that was already bad. So then I go and I look at my rare player, and 75 rated right back, 28. And the worst, it's bad that they're already 28. You know, that's already bad enough. The problem is, if you asked me, what positions do you need the least in your entire agency? It's right back and centre back. My last 4 pack drops, I've got a centre back in every single one of them. In terms of my right backs, I've got 2 rare right backs. I've got these guys here who are both on 74. I really don't need any more right backs, and I just get another one, and it's frustrating as well because there's players I'm looking at on my watch list that I need to strengthen, and I'm like, if I just didn't buy that pack, I could have just gone and bought that player that I actually needed, and it's I've got to stop my degeneracy. I've got to stop it. I have to, because I'm going up the leagues too quickly, and there's not a lot of return. Like, I can't sell that guy, that right back. I looked at his value. It's probably about, I'd be lucky to get about $35 for him. And it's like, I can't recoup any of that. And like I said, I'm moving up the leagues too quickly that I can't take the risk with packs. I've got to buy the players, the exact players. So yeah, that was really disappointing. So I've had a really shit, to put it lightly, pardon my French, you know, yeah, it's just been shit for me so far.
That ship sailed, mate. Don't worry about it. Like
Yeah,
the whole,
it's done,
excuse
that's
my
the
French.
past now. I think at the minute with the market the way it is though, that is the best strategy. But it's so fun opening packs. So
It is fun until I open that pack.
Yeah.
Then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah, but the market at the moment, because it's a buyer's market, you can get lots of value. Like you say, you could have bought, like if you're saying you could sell or buy that player for like $35, you know, you could have bought like 5 players at that rating. I mean, not at the rating you wanted, at that rating.
No, exactly.
At that rating that you got, not obviously in what you wanted. Yeah. So but for where you was, you could have potentially got like 1-2 players.
Yeah.
Exactly, but we all want to open packs, so it's a
well. I think for the next, until I'm settled, and I think bronze, I may end up settling for a little bit if I get to bronze, and then maybe then I can start opening packs once I've got a full squad. But I just need to strengthen because I just keep going up.
On that,
so I need players.
You get yourself to bronze, there's a real price curve at that point for the sort of players you're after. So it's then having a bronze club that you can sustain.
Yeah.
And through rewards, because there's a real hike. As soon as you hit stone, there's a big hike in MFL, and then it really canters up as you go up the divisions. It's once you start doing that, okay, how am I going to reinforce this and completely reinvest? Is it your networking, so you're getting good loans, you're not giving away loads of rev share, but you're building a solid team, you're helping other players with their development, managers with their players' development? Or it's a case of, right, I'm buying with the view to minimum 3 to 4 years on these players, because I've taken puts on many of a 28, 29, maybe a 30-year-old, and I've got quite a few of them, but none of them yet, touch wood, have hit the retirement symbol. When they do, I've still got like 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah. And I'm getting that, I've got a bit of a continuation plan with how I'm trying to churn. I'm aiming for 80 plus. Minimum, maximum age ideally when I'm now purchasing, it's around the 27 mark, maybe 28 a push for the right player, the right rating, and then just networking, because it's so costly to start building at that level. But you're definitely going about it the right way. But I understand that you could have opened that pack got the same players, but if that right back you got, for example, say he was 20, 21,
Yeah.
the landscape changes
Completely
entirely.
different.
But it depends what your needs are. Because I was looking at our agencies earlier because I was curious about your cup games, and I was like, I think I'm at 201 players now or something. Root, you're like 150, 170-ish, something in that sort of range. And Bruce, you're just over 100. So it's like, how much have you got in the back burner or like coming up behind your iron players in terms of their progression to...
Progression too slow. The players underneath
Yeah.
are progressing too slow.
I found the same for my silver team. I'm struggling to think. I thought, oh, a season or two, someone's going to be able to be promoted, and I'm struggling with that. There's only one, maybe two, have been promoted who would start in the silver team, and it is tough. It's really tough, especially the youngest players that I've got. Can they just go a bit faster?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh, so yeah, it is a challenging one. It is an interesting one. Because, I think it might well be that if you manage to go up in your iron team this season, one of my bronze teams, unless we pull out an absolute miracle out of the bag, will be swapping places. And that'll be an interesting conversation between you and I, because I'm going to have an overabundance of rares all of a sudden and do a stack iron, like, stupidly. Or do I, Bruce, here you go, players. And we do something of that, but we shall see. Root, how's it gone for you this week? How's your week been?
Not too bad, I say. I'm not going to go on a rant, don't worry. Even though I do totally get where Bruce is coming from, because when he showed
Same.
I totally get it. So,
I've been in Bruce's boots before with buying packs. It's a
I've
killer.
got a few things. Yeah, it is a killer.
It's
It's fun. It's so fun. So, I'll share my screen. So I want to just call off straight off the bat my first ever rare player. He's gone out on loan to Mr. K, and he's just missed a penalty in the cup. So
Don't worry about that. It's like, I don't know why he was taking one. He took the fifth penalty. I think it might have been the sixth. It was the sixth penalty because my fifth penalty taker missed his, and he was the last penalty taker. But I think he's doing all right actually. He's not played many because we've not had many games.
Yeah, he's my first rare. I think he's good. I like him. Obviously, I won him on the stream. Yeah.
He would be, I was hoping he would play there because he's only somewhat familiar something. He drops to like a 72, something like that as a centre back, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I'm happy with him. First rare, 78 rated, CDM, 26 years old. If the Rum lads do go up by, which is totally not planned, I've got a rare. You know, Mr. K, thank you for looking after him for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
He'll get game time, plenty of it.
Cool, awesome. So club-wise, a bit like what you just said, Bruce, like, we just lost. I don't know why. A second game, it's our second loss of the season. Like you said, ignore the Reds because they're in, obviously, obviously that's in the league. That's our first loss. And then that's a second. But we've been in such good form. And, like, I think they're sort of like fifth, so they're coming up. But we're in such good form. They kind of are like draw, win, whatever. We did have that loss there. But when you look at the game, and I know, like you said, XG doesn't show a story, but we only had 1.19, they had 0.28. We just seem to not be able to hit the target, and I don't know why. And
but the thing that the XG does tell us is they're getting poor chances, but still scoring them. That's
2 goals.
That's what I look at. It's like you've got a really low XG shot, and it's just gone in. Great.
73 shooting, 81, right? Okay, 77, 73. Okay. Fair enough, but but overall, I'm still really happy with them. I mean, they're overperforming. They weren't predicted to be up there. I mean, they could easily go up and down, see what the second half of the season brings. If they get promoted, I've got a rare already. But also, I know I normally do the agency, but in the squad, obviously I've got a few players in here that are like 73, 74, so they're close to the rare mark anyway. And obviously the right back, which we'll talk about later, he's bonging up. But I've got some players that are also close that maybe I've loaned out, which could go up as well, so it's not too bad. Dockside, just top of the league, 5-0 win, 8-0 win, really, really close games. But they're just storming it. They've conceded 7 goals all season, scored 53. Everybody out there, this is what happens when you stack a team in a division that they shouldn't be really playing in, because obviously all these players...
Don't say that because everyone's going to want to do it.
No, yeah. This is what happens. Don't do it. Only do it if you've got a club from a city you love and you want to get them up. But again, these same players will play when they go up in the next season. So, they could finish mid-table or, might go up, whatever. But my plan is to keep this whole team's cohesion, even though I know it doesn't really work that way, together.
Have you sorted out contracts for next season then if you're keeping the team together? Because you could just send them contracts now for next season if you know you're going to keep them here.
I guess it partly depends on if they go up. It partly depends on what happens with Rumlad. So I'd like to keep them all, which is the plan at the minute. Because if Rumlads go up, I'll just keep all their players in there with the addition of that rare and maybe another if they've gone up.
Yeah.
I plan on doing that. But if the Rumlads don't go up, so yeah, probably should be clear about that. If they don't go up, I will have to do some change around because remember this team needs to become my main team. So
yeah, fair play.
I might have to move them around, but as it stands at the minute, they'll just stay together. But yeah, I don't ever do my contracts too early because I don't like to get ahead of myself. But I know you can do that.
Yeah.
And then I'll show I'm not going to bother with downtown. They're kind of like mid-table, do whatever they need to do. And then I'll show the trial club. So we kind of went out. We've lost in the cup. We've lost in the league. Won there. And we've lost 3 this season, not drawn any, won 10. I wouldn't say we're on a bad run of form, but the games we lost was one against us top of the league where they beat us 5-2. And then the other one we lost, God, can't even see it on here. It's been a while back. Over here, 2-1. And they're just behind us. So, again, it's one of those with a trial club. I don't even know how much it matters currently for us because I don't know what the plan is for the trial club. But we'll talk about that as obviously the season goes on. But overall, I'm still happy with how the week's gone. I think when we dive into the progression at the end, I'm happy because of that. Even though we're recording today, so some of that technically weak progressions dipped out by a day. I'll still class it as it's like the week, if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fairly happy.
I was just going to say, it might be interesting at some point next time you're sharing. You know that trial club. Some people won't have seen because they might not have a trial club. What that upgrade process looks like. Because obviously you shared as like a screenshot.
Do you want me to click it?
Yeah, go for it. I just think it might be interesting for other users to see because I know MFL are doing a lot of work on like conversions from trial clubs and stuff. So I thought it might be interesting to let other people see it who haven't seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the trial clubs now, for anyone that's got one, or if you are going to sign up for one this season and you like the location and what have you, you can just click the button here, upgrade club, and it kind of tells you what you're getting for it. So you can keep it for unlimited seasons if you want. Sell the club on the marketplace and get cash back. Obviously, you're going to buy it for $80, so you are going to sell it on the second-hand market. You're going to sell it for less, so it's what it is.
Yeah.
Interesting. But we'll just move past that. Future rewards. So obviously, any rewards you got for that season, you unlock, and you can unlock more. And then 70% extra revenue because obviously you've loaned a load of players in this time, and you can obviously loan more. So I think we had a cap of 30%, but you can obviously loan 100 if you want. So you could upgrade for $79.99 dollars if you want to. Which some people will as well. I've been talking about this. So the thing is, again, if you've got a trial club and you've somehow managed to hit a location that you love, let's just say, and you're top of the league or in the playoff spot, so you're going to go up, you've got to remember at that point it's $80 for a Spark team. It's not $80 for a Flint team because you've gone up. So anybody that's getting a club when you've gone up, that might be slightly more than the market, but you've got to remember it's your club from the start. It might be your location you want. So there's lots of factors that will come into the decision making for those that are going to buy the Flint license, I guess. Because I
want to talk about this some more. I want to talk about the trial club stuff because it was something I think we were bouncing off a few ideas last week on something, and I listened to the Wendover the other week where they had like Palmer and Zuta and Snake and that on. And they touched on it, a few ideas, and I know we've spoke back and forth on Discord here and there, but that I've added it to like topic of the week things after like the match engine and the is it Rabid? Rabid play? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Cool.
It'll be an interesting one. Yeah, cool. Right then, I'll do a quick whistle stop with just a couple. Screen share. Let's do this. If you were talking about rare, so I was actually scanning the market for 80 plus and seeing what they're coming out. There's some interesting options already on there that are cheaper than the usual. I like scanning periodically to get an idea. So where shall we start? We'll go for the White Rose Peacocks. It's like my main team, as it were. So at the moment we're sitting in 5th. It's very tight though, because 3 points takes us up to 3rd. And obviously 3 more points on top of that, it takes us up to 2nd. This is one of Work the Spaces teams, and it's just Pace City. I knew he had one, and I didn't realise it was this one until I scouted them before the game, and I was like, oh, crap. And they're all just filthy pace. So I played them first game of the season, played the first game back, and I was like, oh, for goodness sake. Because I had a bit of a tail off towards the end of the mid-season break. 2-2 last night, fairly even game, probably a fair result to be fair. New tactics being deployed, and I'm still working out what I want to play against what. And then in the cup today, managed to progress. Rotated squad, but comfortably in charge. And I've been making use, I don't know if you can quite see that, gents, but I've been making use of in-game tactics, match plans. Oh, where's it gone? There it is.
Yeah.
There you go. So we've got defend, and then if we get even better, it's fucking defend. And the inverse is also the same. If we need to attack, it's attack, and if we need to attack more, it's fucking attack. Hopeful that we can sort of stay in this sort of contention at this end of the league, but this is quite a competitive league, to be fair. There's lots of very strong teams, and the amount of people have been in second and third, because we have, I know Cherries have, I know they have, I don't say their name, Hamburg have at one point. It just chops and changes all the time, so we can all beat each other. Silver team is turning into a struggle bus, big time. Rotated for the cup and winning the bloody cup, and I was like, another headache now to work out, because we just can't buy a win at the moment. Honestly, this is last time in the league we won a game, and we were sitting like third, and we're still fairly comfortable away from the drop, still 5 points away from the relegation playoff spot, but we can't buy a win. And I've tried all sorts, and I just keep sort of ticking along, and it's just not coming together. So, big second half of the season, but exactly what I did last year when I did this. And I've sort of said to my other co-owners the other day, I said, look, if one of you boys wants to pick up the mantle and run it for me, I really don't mind. But on that, I said earlier, cup games, we won the cup game. Means in 2 days from recording time, the day this goes out, we're playing Kev. Because Kev, me, Jimbo and Kev were all in the same cup. I went through in our group stage. Jimbo sadly didn't make it through. Kev's made it through in the cup tonight. I think that basically makes him, as I recall, I think that means he's won every cup game so far in the competition. Yeah, because I think he went 6 for 6 in the cup. I'm sure he did. Let's have a quick look. Where are we? Where's Kev? Is he down here? There we go. Yeah, 6 for 6 in the cup. And he's just won the knockout, so he's 7 for 7 in the cup, is Kev. And then now I'm playing him next. And I need to keep rotating for the bloody league, because we need to stay in the league. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Of the cup games, all 3 teams are in there. One of them got knocked out, and we battered them, and we still lost. Other 2 won. Keto went out on pens. Peacocks won. And my Silver Club also got through in the cup. So that means we've got 5 through to the next round. And I was having a look at Meta Lab. Ooh, there we go. We've just had the Meta Lab stuff, Metafixer Lab update. 102,000 now I'm sitting at after the cup games and stuff today. So that's looking very nice. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Because how many common players would that be? That would be a lot of common players. It's been an interesting week. I've been doing a lot of tactic testing, doing a lot of chats with lots of different people, getting their sort of perspective on it and stuff. I'll tell you what I have come up against a lot recently out of nowhere. 5-4-1, the diamond version of it, not the flat version. Okay. It's a right pain in the arse to beat if someone's going it running, because it's Noe Sark. Yeah, that particular agency owner. I've come across a couple of his teams recently all running it, and it's a right ball ache to try and break down and beat. Honestly, just get countered all the time. But yeah, that was last season's sort of shithouse tactic for me, for my team. And it's doing a number on me at the moment. It's doing my head in. But yeah, anything more to touch upon your weeks, boys, before we go into our topic of the week?
No, let's dive in.
Let's do it. Well, the big one that was new, that a lot of people are interested in, and I've heard a lot of differing takes in it, was the Rabid play that they had for the Halloween event during the mid-season break, which I thought was an interesting sort of idea. The concept with it is interesting. Any of you guys set your teams up to be absolute nut jobs, and then they just wet paper blankets and just couldn't be asked doing anything? And just
I think my problem with it was I thought the enrage, and I know what people are going to say, I thought it'd be more impactful than it was. Now, when a player got Rabid, yes, they were faster, and you could clearly see they were faster and better, and they dribbled through an entire team. Problem is they'd still shoot from stupid angles. They'd still get to the 6-yard box and shoot instead of passing it to the guy. You know, there was still idiots in that sense. I won't use the word I used in the Discord with you guys, but there were still idiots. And I set up the first game I did. I set it all up to, right, we need to, foul as much as possible. And I set my tactics up. And the first game, it was great. It worked perfectly. Problem is, I was already 2-0 down by the time, anybody went Rabid. And then when I went Rabid, the guy who went Rabid just couldn't score. He refused to score, kept putting it wide, kept putting it over, kept shooting straight at the goalkeeper from 2 yards out. So it didn't make any difference. So after that, I was like, well, then I don't need to go for the Rabid, because if, the Rabid took a little while to get to the 100% and then obviously the 200%, if I'm already 2-3-0 up, it's irrelevant. And so that's the way I went with it. And I was just like, right, I'll just play to win the game. And I had a lot more success doing that. I got my pitch. I got my kit design. So I got everything I wanted. I thought it was a really cool little idea. I just expected the Rabid to be more impactful than it actually was, I think.
Well, at least that's something positive. You got a kit and a pitch.
I did.
See?
Yeah.
And
What's
that's
only
2 pitches.
87 people.
Yeah.
2 pitches in a season,
like a bus,
mate.
right? Like a bus. Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but there's a couple of things I think. One was the overall thing. I think it should have been on your starting 11, and once you locked your 11 in, it couldn't change. I know it's very difficult because you.
Can I just say, this is the result of people playing, and I didn't do this. This is a result of people playing 40 rated centre backs in Gold Rush. Like this is the consequences for it, guys. Like, it was a pain in the ass, I agree, but that's the consequences.
Yeah.
Like, to avoid people doing that, like.
No, I get it. Yeah, because I had one club that had 166 rated, and everyone else was like 65 and 64.
Yeah.
And it would have been perfect to go in there, and it probably would have gone all the way. And I know I could have took him out, registered it in, and put him back in, but I don't want to have to. I didn't want to have to do that. Like, because then, what if I did want to bring some players in? I'm losing a position of bringing someone in. I mean, I didn't, but that's not the point. So I would have liked to just seen it locked on the 11. So the 11, when I register, I'd like it to go, which of the 11 you want to play this event with? They're my 11, and then it locks it, and then it's done, and then it just carries on through the play then. Because that would have just sorted that out for me. But it didn't matter. It just is what it is. I still made it all work. I didn't want to have to change loads of things to make it work. The thing for me was I kind of like set up, went obviously all aggressive. I did the aggressive on the tactic and then obviously aggressive on every player just to make sure they were super E-man aggressive. But I totally forgot I have to win the games as well. So like I just thought to myself, well, if my player on the pitch goes in, kick off, he's going to run down, not the guy, red card. He's going to run down, not the guy, red card. I'm rapid, I'm scoring. So I totally forgot about that. I actually need to do it. So what I did is I tried to put lots of my aggressive players in, forgetting that, well, he still needs to be able to kick a football, mate. Like, he still needs to be decent. You can't just go, oh, you've got 75 physical, get in there and cause some damage. You still need to be able to pass a little bit. So, Root, why have you taken a 64 rated passer out, put a 45 rated passer in just because he's a little bit harder? Mistake. So my lesson learnt there. So I won the grand total of nothing. I got through to the quarters at one point and lost. And that was pretty much it.
You should have won something at the quarters.
The quarters. Maybe it was around before the quarters. Then I didn't get. I won a couple of matches, and then lost the third one.
Right.
32, 60, whatever it is.
16,
I can't remember.
16.
Yeah. So I definitely didn't. I might have won some like MFL or a I don't know, a pass.
Dev
I don't know.
pass.
I can't remember. How
I thought it'd probably been a Dev Centre pass.
Yeah, maybe that. But when I mean I didn't win anything, sorry, let's clarify. I didn't win a super cool kit,
Right.
And I didn't win obviously a pitch. But Blades did say if I wanted to, I could send him my club. He'll put the kit on for me and give me it back. So like my Dockside Tigers, because obviously it kind of looks really. He sent me a screenshot of it. Yeah, it looks really good. How it looks, I think it was on. Yeah, I mean, can't share. No, I'm not going to do it. Anyway, I've got a picture And what he shared me looks absolutely amazing. So I said to him, like, maybe in the off season when I'm going to change my kits, I might mess around doing that if I have to. But
Thinking about that, do you want me to put that on the Yorkshire Tea XP home kit?
yeah, mate, get it on it. Why not?
Why not?
Because yeah, it'll stay on.
free.
Won't
Set
it?
it up.
It's
Yeah,
free
set it
for
up.
now.
Yes, and then do that. Yeah, then
Yeah, I'll
Mr.
do
K and
that.
I can have a go of it. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I thought it was a good event. I love the fact they're doing these events. I love the fact that when there's some downtime, so like obviously transfer window, off season. So it'd be quite cool to see what they do between seasons, because the idea around this really is that everybody that wants to stay engaged can stay engaged, and those that don't want to, you don't have to. But you actually have the ability to have some MFL every day. So when this season ends between this one and season 10, are they going to do another event or a couple of events or things that lead up between the seasons? I don't know. Be quite interesting. But yeah, I love all these. I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much as Goal Rush, but I think Goal Rush, I love the community side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that I mean, this is cool if you just want to have some MFL content for yourself and do something, have a bit of fun, and get your rewards. But like Goal Rush for me, the community side of it, the alliance, I was like, that's the thing I love the most, the community. So I was all over that.
I think the thing for me was I was done on the first day. I'd won everything on the first day, so I didn't.
Right, mate.
I didn't. No, but I didn't Whereas Goal Rush,
Yeah.
it was a constant. I was constantly engaged with it. Whereas this one, I'd won everything on the first day that I wanted. I didn't bother again,
Right.
which was I think is something that was lost. I think because once you've got everything, why bother? But yeah,
Which is fair enough.
yeah.
What about you, Mr. K? What did you think?
I like the fact. I'll go through things I liked about it. I like the fact that it was something to engage you during the downtime. It was seasonal, great. It's something a bit different. People were talking about it and getting on the platform and doing something. I like the fact you either won something or you didn't. I think you should have exclusivities, those that engage with it. So now Bruce is walking away. He's got that pitch. He's got that kit. I didn't get anything myself, but it's like the haves and the have-nots now, and I'm fine with that being the case. Where I found it a struggle, which was more just to my teams and stuff, was there was a grand total of 2 teams realistically that could enter any competition where they could be relatively competitive, because practically all of my teams straddled every overlap of the thing. It wasn't because they had stupidly high rated players and all across these teams. Don't get me wrong, there's the odd one, like my Stone team's got an 83 because he's progressed to 83 this season. But all of mine fell smack bang in the middle of every single bracket, pretty much entirety across my agency. So the only way to play with it was to go in super underpowered half the time, because I might have one player that just fell in the bracket. And honestly, I sat there and read the rules and descriptions of how you had to engage with this, and I got so confused for ages until I realised I had one team, one of my Flint teams, who had 156 rated. Oh no, it was 57 rated left winger. He was the only one. I had to drop him to then at least register and have a go at doing a competition. And I found that frustrating. Like, I shouldn't have to drop him. He's not in the team because I've entered the team. Here's my team. Here's who's going to play. They're fielding. And the one time I went in, I got, right, I did it. I had a relatively strong team. Beat the first opponent, no problem. Second team, the ratings all made sense, but he was one of these managers that has a cup team. So he had the out-of-position strength players. I mean, that's fine. It's part of the course. So that was just shit luck. That's the way it works. My annoying bit, which they have no control over, it's just one of those things. It's like, right, Rabid, I've got my player. Here he goes, right back.
Yeah.
Then their striker gets it, butt spots me for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, right, I've got my next one now. Come on, this is going to level it up. DM.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, he's like, there are other strikers now, Rabid, as well. I'm thinking, or left winger or right winger, and I'm just sat there going, well, this is fun. The defender's just going, oh, shit. And it went from being, if we were looking at the XG, oh, look how well we're doing. I can't believe we're not winning. Oh, we lost 8-2. Because in the last 30 minutes, they just went mental and nothing was going to stop them. It didn't matter what we did. And that's just the way it worked out. It didn't work very particularly well for my teams and my agency, but I think the idea, the premise, definitely on the money.
Yeah.
They need to do more of things like that.
I think the format wouldn't have been a problem if this was off-season. It's the fact that it was mid-season. Because if it's off-season, you can move people around as much as you want.
Fair point.
Whereas in mid-season, you've got a limited of 3.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to bring some guys in to strengthen your team for your league.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this banding format would be a lot better in the off season, where people can have that flexibility to move players
It
around.
would have worked for me that I registered this club and I've got enough players to field an 11 that fit the criteria, but I cannot put all the other players that wouldn't fit the criteria and ineligible, like the band. They've got a red card. They can't play. So I couldn't field them in that format. That would have circumnavigated a lot of it, and people can do what they want
pick
from
up
it.
some lessons learned from
Mate, exactly, it's the first, second
really
time
good.
they've done something like this, and it was seasonal. It just is what it is. It didn't pan out for me with my circumstances. Fine. There was nothing wrong with the banding. I agreed with them putting some sort of parameters in place.
The banding
it just
was good.
was unfortunate how it fell for me. That were all.
I think the banding was good. I think they nailed the band. I think it was fine. Like you say, I think we're both saying the same thing. Like, it'd be good if it was just on the starting 11. But your point, Bruce, if they do another one of those in the off season, you're laughing, aren't you? Because you can just keep registering or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a good thing for them to do, really. Because I do think it was a really, really good competition in that sense. I think the only other thing I would say is, obviously, I didn't have any MFL, but I do think people might hold MFL back, because if these are going to be the norm, I'm not going to invest in maybe a pack with my MFL or a dev centre pass if I know I could enter some competitions where there's a risk versus reward for MFL. So like 200 MFL on the line, but I could easily maybe get that back after a couple of wins. I'm going to do that. I didn't have any left, so I only did the free plays. But I would have loved to have had MFL back, and I guess if they do it again in the off season or next season, I'll consciously leave some back just in case anyway. So that's my only caveat there as well. I think it's the first time I've done it. It was great, but your point on the off season was really, really, really important on that as well.
Yeah,
what else
I
we got,
agree with
Mr.
those.
K?
Next up was one
Hold on.
that.
Before we go into this, that I really don't want to talk about it. Can we? We forgot about the Ron John challenge.
Oh yeah, we got a Ron John challenge, haven't we? Right
You
then.
forgot.
I
forget all the time.
Actually, sorry, Ron John. Sorry.
However, one of my co-owners of my silver team has got Root's team in the league, so he's the one that constantly reminds me. I'm playing this team tonight. I'll try and do you a favour. I'm like, it might do us a favour. We don't know what the bloody rules are yet, so we don't know how we're going to win anyway. But yeah, I continuously forget about this one.
Yeah. So the Ron John challenge. So we'll just go in the order that I've got them on here.
It's because we don't have control of the clubs. I think that's
it. Yeah, I think that's it. When club delegation comes in, it'll make it a lot easier, won't it? So we'll track them a lot easier. So, but yeah, apologies to Ron John. It is a great idea. We just haven't kept an eye on it. So yeah, I'm trying my best to get him relegated. I'm doing a really good job of it. I'm not actually trying that. Clearly, just tactics just haven't worked. The players in the tactics haven't worked. Let's have a quick look at how the.
Did you make any changes?
No, I didn't make any changes. So they've all got enough energy still, by the looks of it. They're just
very
not
consistent.
performing very well, consistently crap. But we got a win, look, against Unreal Madrid, who are bottom. So let's not take too much from that. We got a win. So, and we beat them last time as well. So absolutely
win, mate.
Absolutely boshing that.
So 60% of your points have come against the team in the bottom of the table. Anyway,
funny man FC. So Mr. K's club.
Yeah, 16 points.
Above. Yeah, so 16.
Hey, we got a win recently.
You got a win against
Default FC. Get in.
And then you beat Club.
Get in.
Oh, that's who? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so
just click on the last time we beat that team, because I've got a sneak suspicion looking at this. They might be defaults. They might be just the sort of 3-0 walkover games. I've got a sneak suspicion. Is it? No. The boys pulled it out the bag. Tactical genius. There we go. Look at that.
So that's that one. And then Silver Fox himself, Bruce Leet.
How many points has he got?
Mid-table.
Oh, he's got one more win.
Oh, we're through in the cup as well.
Could get in the playoffs because you're only 3 points out of it. And you're in the cup still.
Yes.
And you won in the cup.
Uh-oh. It means the second half of the season now is going to start tanking because it's too many games now. It's going to go downhill rapid.
So energy, all good. Ratings, hit and miss.
Yeah.
Interested, has he? No, I didn't.
Nice.
He's progressed in some players.
Nice.
You got there five players. Not bad. Not bad.
Exactly.
What's your inbox message, mate?
No idea. Don't.
It's not me. Before we get started. There we go.
Suspended. Suspension. Lovely. Yeah, well, I actually thought when you asked it, I was like, what has he done? Has he
No.
just, like,
It's just genuinely.
for
I was
somebody?
like, have you sent a shit offer out to someone and they're just coming back to you, basically going, like, it's listed, but I don't want to sell him anymore. No.
You know the just slightly off topic for 1 second. You know when I asked you to have a look at those players and get a value, whatever.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
So don't worry about it. I went back to the guy with the offer, and he's like, "You're lowballing me." I was like, "I actually legitimately am not." Because, like, this is the ratings. It's in a band of this. I've gone for this. You've gone for that. We're like $20 apart. I'm not lowballing. As in for 3 players. It's like, I'm definitely not lowballing you. And then, like, I haven't bought them.
I show working out. That's the topic for another time, like negotiations.
Yeah.
I literally show my working out and go, this is where I've got to.
And that's what I did. I went, look, this player range is this player's range is this player's range is this is where the market's at. And don't get me wrong, after the conversation, he was very much like, I hadn't realised the market had dipped that low. I only bought these players like 200 days ago or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately it is. And so I just was like really honest, like, so be sure if you want to do a deal or whatever, like, I'm not here to, you're not trying to pull out like I'm content creating on a pod thing out. But I'm literally one of the people that's not going to do you wrong because, like, it would be all out there. Yeah. I'm like looking out for you. Like, you want to sell some players, I want to do a deal, but you got to remember the market is where the market is.
I just remembered you put me onto my first ever. What did I do? Gallery. I bought a gallery, didn't I?
Gallery,
someone. Yeah, I did a gallery purchase after you put me.
That was
someone
good.
had reached out to you and said, "Would you be interested?" You let us know. What do you think? I looked at it and I went, "I'd be interested, but I'd want to look at the prices." And yeah, I was quite happy with that. And it's
That's
something I've considered a few
it?
times. I thought it was a good deal. I was happy with the deal because it was sort of, I don't need, but I'm happy to have. So therefore, here's my price. And he was happy to accept.
You're still because you got to do that. So there's a load of players you got to discount anyway. And you take the number of them, and you're going to give, I don't know, like 60, 70, 80% of the value of what they are. If you're going to bulk buy a gallery, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
I went
for
100% of the values because otherwise you'd go to the market and find every individual player that had.
It was about 60%
similar or better and do it. That's not.
It was approximately 60% is what I went for, and he was happy to accept it. So
yeah,
fine.
exactly.
So I did that.
I think that's fine. I think one of our topics for a future one would be quite cool about gallery purchasing because it will come. The bigger the game gets, the more it will happen. We see it in other platforms, so it is going to be a thing.
It's something I'd be open to doing again for the right price for the people who want to offload or want to restructure or whatever. Because I am looking just to have volume in some cases now, just for my own what we're calling it, balancing the books basically over a period of time.
Yeah.
Just turning it over and making myself I can just sort of even balance things out. So yeah, I was quite happy with that. It was an interesting opportunity. I'd probably do it again, but just for the right opportunity and the right price. But it's an interesting one. Right, shall we go on to our next topic, which I know, Bruce, it's not your favourite, but we'll try and be gentle with you, don't worry. So we had the mid-season report come through, which I did have a read through. I don't know if you gents have had a read of that at all, because I know some people do, some people don't. But they released that for the first half of season 9. So they talked through what's changed so far and what's coming up next. But then they did announce that following the mid-season report and the feedback they got, we've decided for the first time to keep the same engine for season 10, adding a bit more stability requested by many. They did say that they're going to continue working on refining goalkeeper behaviour and defining how experience and energy will work with substitutions. I'll be honest, throw it out there, might be a bit hot. I don't want substitutions, but I like the game as is in this sort of current format. But goalkeeper behaviour, yeah, because I don't know what seems to be going on with some of the deflections or saves that they seem to do. It's been very odd this year on a number of occasions for both mine and my opposition's goalkeepers. But yeah, first time ever. We're going into a new season knowing we're not having a massive engine change.
No. Well, Bruce went first earlier, so I'd like to go first this time. And I promise it's not to trigger Bruce or try and...
which means you're absolutely about to trigger me.
There's lots of different sides to this, though. You can do the Jimbo and sit on the fence, like squarely on the fence. You can sit on one side or you can sit on the other. And I think there's a big disparity across the entire community on this one.
I'm really happy about it, but can I explain why?
Of course, you can have that side of the fence. Bruce can have the other.
So the reason I'm happy is because I think there has to become a point where you decide that you are happy enough with your match engine for it to become the default, and that doesn't mean you're not going to change or evolve it. And I know you're not going to agree with a lot of this, Bruce. That's fine. I don't know when the time is right for that to happen, and I know there's always going to be people that are enjoying a match engine, not a match engine, that kind of thing. I think what it will drive out and what it will allow is that over seasons, every time it kind of feels like a reset every season, so you've got to completely rethink about it. And when you've invested financially, potentially in players in your clubs and people that you believe play in a certain way and work in a certain way, it's very difficult when it completely resets and a formation's not as strong as it was before or that kind of thing. And I do believe all formations can beat each other, right? You just have to work it out how, and I know you believe that. So the thing for me is, what hopefully this allows is that you've got your season, your 28 games, you can learn from it. And what I will do is I'm going to go back and look at games and how I performed, especially those I lost, and try and see if there's things and reasons that I lost. Was it the same player doing the same thing over and over again? And I imagine these are kind of things you do week in, week out every time when you're playing it. I don't do that. So taking aside the results you're seeing and some of the stuff you're seeing, trying to find a balance where it stays the same and you can actually then go back and look and go, well, why didn't it work? Was it because my guy wasn't very good at passing, or was I against this formation? Was every time I lost against a 5 at the back? You're able to kind of look at that and go, right, so I'm really happy with my formation generally. How do I beat a 5 at the back with this same team, with these same people and this same personnel in my squad? And at that point, if you're going to keep your players longer as well, you're able to try and maybe hone in on that and try and get those wins. Now, I don't know when the right point is, but at some point it had to get to this point where it is a base and it is a benchmark. So then, because it's not sustainable when you've got a game where, like you say, money's tied up in it, it's not sustainable to keep changing it. I do still think there's lots of little nuances that need fixing. It's going to be interesting how they do those. Some of the things that Mr. K just noted on then, and other things that you're obviously going to go into in a minute, and I will shut up and let you go, apologies. Are they going to come still in season 10, or are we kind of saying as it is now is season 10 and they'll come in 11, or are they going to come a bit now? We're still not clear on that, and I think over the next few days hopefully we'll get that clarity. But yeah, for the game world, if you want to call it a game world, I think having a engine that stays the same for seasons with small tweaks overall will make the experience for everybody better. Is my thoughts.
Okay.
Go on, mate.
Well, what you might find surprising is I'm not going to disagree with a lot of your points. I just want to preface this by saying there's three prefaces. I'm not moaning, right? I keep my mouth shut about stuff usually because I don't want to come across as I'm moaning. I love the game. I care for the game. I want the game to do well. So I'm not moaning. It's just my delivery is a bit, so it comes across like I might be moaning sometimes, but I'm not. The second preface is a lot of people think people who have a problem with the engine is because they're doing shit. You know, they're getting bad result. As you've seen at the start of this pod, that's not the case for me. Like, I'm quite successful on this engine. I'm doing well on this engine. So it's not because I'm losing every week or anything like that. And the third point, the third preface is, the engine changing isn't, the engine staying the same, isn't the thing I've got the problem with. Like you said, great idea. Not only does it allow you more time, you don't have to, rejig your tactics every season. It also gives Quentin and Bastian more time to work on the engine rather than this 2-month window they've got every time. It gives them more time to work on it and refine it and make it better. So, great idea. My issue is, it's this engine that they're doing it on. Because, honestly, this has been the least fun I've had in MFL. Like, watching my games has been the least fun. I find the goals, like, I know we don't want NFL scores. I know that. We don't want NFL scores. But I think it's just a bit much. The goals are too sparse. And I saw in the mid-season report they said, we were looking to do the goals, and it went a little bit further than we expected. So I hope they do address it and they do bring it up, because the lack of goals is terrible. Now, if I was a person who's fighting for survival every week and fighting for relegation, I can see their point of view would be very different. This is probably class for them. Oh my God, I can sneak a 1-0 win here. Class for them. But for me, I'm not at that level. I'm usually challenging, and it's frustrating losing a game against 1-0, scraping a 1-0 win against bottom of the league when I really shouldn't. I've played better. I've got the better shots. They've got one shot on target and beaten me 1-0. Like, the upsets happen. We'll come to that. Upsets happen. I get it. And it's very, very boring. Usually in previous seasons, like between my games, if I've got a guy out on loan, I'd go and watch their game and be like, to see how they're doing, and while I'm waiting for my next team to play. I've not done that once this season. I also usually watch Diamond League games. I keep up on the Diamond League. I pay attention to it. I watch the games. This season I'm not. Like, because it's just, the games are boring to watch. I'm just waiting for results to come through, which is something I haven't done all the other previous seasons. If there was I don't know if they do it in MF anymore, but where you just get a instant result button. If they had that in MFL this season, I'd use it. I'd use it all the time. It's just, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if it's because of the lack of goals being scored, but the variety in goals is very small. I'm seeing the same goals same like 2 or 3 different types of goals every game. Sometimes I'm seeing the same goal in the same game. And it's just, I'm getting to a point where I can predict almost, not perfect yet, but I'm getting to the point where I see a highlight stat and I'm like, oh, this is a goal. And that, I'm not having fun with this engine. So to find out, and like I said, I kept quiet about it because I'm like, next season, new engine, it'll be fine. And now I've found out, no, next season, it's this engine again. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, but people might approach it differently though. So you got to think as well. Like for this last season, we had obviously the attacking tendencies, defending, and that. We've also got match plans which are brand new. I mean, I'm not using match plans still yet, and obviously I don't really use much of the attacking and defending stuff. I've got it on maybe one player because I had to spend a lot of time just trying to figure out how to get my tactic working. Well, now I have the ability to go, right, my tactics going okay, it's not bad, which is exactly where you're saying you are, and overall you're fine with how your teams are playing. But now we have the ability to go, well, all these other options and how they do them, if I look back at those other games and those opponents and I can find someone else that may be similar and I go and practice against them and I use attacking more or defending more or cross more often more or just on certain players and one player, because the actual base is staying the same, all those things will have a different impact, and you might find that people will be more inclined to use some of the new features which will impact it, because in a lot of the games I go up against, very, very few of them have a match plan that comes up, very few, and that would, in theory, should impact a game more. So I'm like you, I have got those like 5-0s and 8-0s, but most of my games are 2-1, 3-1, 1-0. Like they're all quite that kind of scoring games, even if I think I'm totally dominating it. So I'm just kind of wondering if people start diving in as other features, because they get to the end of the season and go, oh, I'm quite happy with my formation, not going to change it. Well, what I will do is I'll build some match plans out then. And they could have negative impacts. And I don't know, I'm just trying to find, I get where you're coming from.
I don't disagree with you. I actually think this is probably the most balanced engine there has been that I've experienced. It's the most balanced. There's no egregious exploits. There's no long shots. There's no, long ball spam. There's none of that. It's actually really, really balanced, and it looks good, but for some reason it's come at the expense of fun, entertainment, enjoyment. It's come at the expense of that. And I know people say we should be real life, it should mimic real life to a certain extent, because it's still a game. There's got to be like, yes, we need realism, but we also need it to be fun. And it just doesn't feel fun. I get enough real life in real life. I wait all day. I'm working all day. I've got 2 young kids that are, I've got to make sure they don't kill each other. I've got all these responsibilities. I look forward to my MFL game on the evening when I've got my downtime, when I can sit and chill, and I turn on my game and 0-0. I'm really entertained by that. I'm really entertained. And it happens. It's happened in previous seasons. I've had one, but the frequency that it's happening now and the upsets frequency is it just feels much higher. I'm getting a lot more upsets. Games where like I said in the thing, I'm not worried about the teams around me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play them. I'm going to do well. It's the teams in 8th and 9th. I'm terrified going into the game. Like, we're probably going to lose this 1-0 because my striker with 88 shooting is going to get a wide open goal in the middle of the 6-yard box and he's going to drag it wide 3 times a game. And I was just like, it's like the players have been programmed to miss more. And it seems to have gone, I could understand their intention. They wanted to bring the goals down, but it seems to have gone too far. And
that bit I do agree with. Your players do miss more. And
Way
they
more.
miss sitters. So they're the ones that frustrate me. I think, like, I have a striker and he's literally got an open net and he bangs it over to the corner flag.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that point. I totally can buy into that element. And you might have a striker who's got like 80 shooting and he's just like hitting the corner flag. Yeah, I get you.
It's the other thing I've seen, because I've seen it in the Discord. Some people have posted and some people have shown me, like sent me privately, some of the results they've had against people with red fitness, playing players out of position, and they've got red fitness and they've dominated the game, tons of shots, and they've lost 1-0. And I'm like, that shouldn't be happening. I can understand where people say, oh, there should be upsets. Now, if there's a guy who's regularly active manager, regularly rotating his team, he's got his tactics good, the only thing is his overalls are a lot lower than yours, every now and again he beats you, I get it. There should be some sort of like reward there that, you know, every now and again. But these teams where the manager is clearly inactive, you know, someone says that, oh, there should never be a 0% chance of you winning. I disagree completely with that, because it's like, if a manager is inactive, he should not be rewarded when he goes up against a manager who's clearly active, clearly rotating, clearly testing, clearly getting their tactics, clearly engaged with the game, and a guy who, you know, to get yellow and red fitness, you've got to leave your team for like, what, 2 weeks? And you're telling me that should be rewarded? It seems to be happening a lot more in this engine. Because what happens then if you're rewarding, even if it's, you know, 5% of the time the inactive manager gets rewarded, that's just going to turn off active managers. Because, and at best, it's going to make them inactive managers. Because they're like, well, why am I putting in all this time to, you know, lose a game like this when I really shouldn't, against a manager who clearly doesn't give a fuck about his team because he's left it for 2 weeks? Like, there should be no reward there. You know what I mean? And that happens a lot on this engine, a lot more than it should, I believe. So I've got problems with this engine. I just don't like it.
Mr. K? Yeah.
I'm going to... There's a couple of bits, because I've been pondering this one myself since I found out a bit of information, and it all sort of lined up quite nicely with a few other things, like content I've been dissecting, things I've been considering about this season, next season, maybe the season beyond that, like what I want to do, how I want to do it, how I want to go about it, where progression's at, who have I got, and I've sort of did some reflection on my own season. Do you know how many tactics we have as an option in MFL? Because 26.
Wow.
In total, there's 26 different formations. I've played and I've used this season 50% of them, because I went through and double checked myself. I've deployed. Said the D word. I've deployed. I've used 50% of them already this season, in different formats for different reasons, to meet varying success, because I'm trying to work out the secret sauce. What works? What makes this team tick? Because some teams I'm getting a tune out of, others I should be, or I was, and I'm now no longer doing it. I don't think it's an engine change thing. I think it is everyone's doing that, and some people have got it right or have started to turn a corner. So then, if there's disparity in quality of team, then like my silver team is a perfect case example. We start the season on fire, and then the second half we really struggle because those managers who didn't necessarily put all the time and effort in to begin with, or didn't get it right first time round, have iterated, and now they've closed that gap, and their better quality players are now telling more frequently. And I'm fine with that, because otherwise, if that isn't the case, what's the point in having higher rated players or investing and putting the time into the money or whatever in having good quality players if you see no benefit? I think you've got to marry that up with effort, determination, willing to put a bit of time into understanding your team, your tactics, how to build your team, what works well in whatever game engine we're doing. Did either of you, or do either of you, watch Andrew Laird's MFL sort of stuff when he does his live content? Yeah.
Yep.
Did you watch it on Thursday with Ryan Walters? Because I listened to the first 20 minutes and I had to duck out. And I don't know what I was doing, but I was listening to it later on or something. I actually messaged Laird the following morning and said, you know what, mate, really enjoyed this one. I feel like that conversation could continue for hours and hours, and it's the sort of conversation I would love to have as well, because I find it fascinating, the consideration. They were talking around people chasing the, what's the word I'm looking for? The meta in whatever case it may be the way to play the game, and how people phrase it and put things across. And it was absolutely right. And I think my name got mentioned at one point because it was talking about putting loads of long shots on them. But then what XG does that do? And I'd like to clarify. My point was, I thought long shots would be great. But then I realised I was having loads of crap shots. So I had loads of XG and loads of shots. But when you actually worked it out per shot, it was awful. We were getting less than 0.1 XG per shot, which is terrible. And I was just sitting there and sort of taking it all back. And here's where I'm at with this idea of the engine staying the same. I think for continuity and people getting their head around it, mastering more of it, we've got loads of new onboarding of new people. I get it. Having that consistent, and as you said, Bruce, the development team having time to continue to iterate and continually improve and focus on maybe wider scale projects, like drawing a line in the sand and saying, okay, here's the engine that we've got. We need to just press pause on constantly making a new one, and let's build something else in the background and keep developing something a bit more robust, because it will get to a point with the engine where, well, how far can the engine go in terms of real life, based on the fact that these are all pretend players and we're seeing a 2D rendition of it. Like, how much can we actually tell from all of that? And I think we've done a great job up to this point, but it will just reach a point where, well, how far is enough? What I am concerned about is, say everyone discovers, okay, here's the way to play. Their meta is 4-3-3 attack. Let's just pretend it is. Don't think it is this year, but let's pretend it is. Or 4-2-4 is the favourite one, because everyone was using it in Goal Rush, and now the amount of people using it across divisions now and getting that is a very powerful tactic, it's seeming this season. Is it Orange Fly, Bob, who's doing really well in Platt with it at the moment and sort of turning heads with it? What happens if we go into next season, everyone's building their teams, catering to a 4-2-4, and then all you're playing, or everyone's playing against each other, is 4-2-4 next season? That, to me, is not exciting. That's boring. I mean, I like the challenge of going, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and find a way to beat a 4-2-4. That's fine with me. But then I'm playing the same type of opponent 80% of the time to varying success. That seems quite stilted to me. It's just a bit, certain players will go up in value. Certain players will plummet in value. DMs are suddenly no longer usable or viable. Wingers, quite an expensive commodity anyway, but their value rockets up. And then you just keep sort of going on that sort of tangent of, well, if I've got this season, and then another off-season, and another full season to work on the engine, on my tactics, to cater to an engine, I just don't want it to become your FIFA EA landscape where you load a game up and everyone's playing the same one because someone on YouTube popped up a tutorial. Here's how to set up your tactic, and you just play the same game on repeat, because that itself is boring.
Yeah, but they're not saying they're not going to change the engine.
I agree.
Sorry, Bruce.
I agree. I completely agree with that.
We need to get away from it changing every season. I don't know what the cadence that makes sense is, and that's why I said about the patches. Is it going to be they're still going to do a patch every season, like the goalkeepers or whatever, but not change the fundamental ways of working? And if they notice something, go on, jump in. Just jump in.
No. I was just going to. I'll come on to my point in a moment. It's like the ideas are just firing off, so I'm like stopping myself.
Like the goalkeepers, and then they're just going to do patches if they notice something else. Like if they do notice a position or a tactic becomes OP, you could put a fix in to sort of like make it not OP, because don't forget, when they're doing their benchmarkings that they kind of sent out halfway through this season now, they have every single metric of data physically possible. Mm-hmm. So they will have made this decision in an educated way, right? They won't have just gone and gone, right, we're 10 seasons in, seems like a good time. Let's pause on that. Let's develop out and let's maybe release another big update at season 15. They wouldn't do that because they're quite happy to do it every season. I take your point, Bruce, like the guys can work on bigger, better things and make it even better, which probably is partly one of the reasons. But they would only have made the decision if everything behind the scenes seemed like it would keep the game fun and keep it a balanced thing. I know. I do think.
Well, that's the thing. The engine. I can see why they've kept this one. It's a very balanced engine. It's just come at the expense.
That's what I want to come on to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just come at the expense of fun. It doesn't feel fun as it has in the previous seasons.
Because I sit there and I look at all these different tactics I've used. I'm not going to say the game, I've said it once already. But I've used all these different tactics all season. I've come up against all sorts of different formations and tactics and everything else. I don't think there is a dominant one. I think the 4-2-4 is about the most dominant that I've seen. But equally, if you know your opponent's going to play it every week, it's actually an easy one to counter with tweaks and certain formations.
Dominant one, isn't it?
And that's what I like about it. So that I can understand why they've chosen this engine, because nearly every single season I've been involved with, there's been one or two formations that they're very strong. It doesn't mean it works for everyone. You can't just pick up a random team and plot them in, because it doesn't always work. You need the right players, the right attributes, or it's more consistently strong because you've got, I don't know, wingers with pace. You've got a striker that, yes, it's got loads of pace, but he's got physicality and shooting to match, or good dribbling. It's not just, he's really fast and he can shoot. Well, that doesn't work all the time. There's a lot more to this game than that. So I think I can see why they've gone at it from that point of view. I've not had your case, Bruce, where with some degree of regularity, you're having these results where you're like, what the hell? How has this happened? I've had them, but I've not had the same frequency. And I've also been the one dealing those results on the odd occasion. I'm like, how the hell has my team managed to beat that team? I had it with my tragic bronze team. And it's not tragic because they're fairly strong for bronze, but they're weaker. And I've got a stupidly overpowered team in my league. And it was the first game, the second half of the season. I think we beat them 2-0. It's one of Ronan's teams, I think. Yeah, it was a 2-0 win in bronze. And if I just load up for 2 seconds, and this is as a result of me knowing what my opponent's going to play, setting up my team and my tactic in a way I thought would be strong. And if I go to the overalls, I've got an average 83 for defence, average 80 for midfield, average 80 for attack, against an 85, an 80 and an 83. He's obviously rotated a few players.
Exactly the thing. That's the key. What I was saying when I did the spiel with Bruce is what it gives us the ability to do is try and find ways to make our squads and our teams, even if we're fixed into a formation or two, to try and be able to beat more formations, because, again, you're still going to have variance in those types of things, but I don't do that at the minute because I'm like, well, 4-1-2-1-2 now is ticking along. I know that's the formation I want anyway, but take that aside. But I make it work for this season on the basis that I was planning on having to reset the whole thing and then try and build another one that kind of works in the same formation. But what I'll do now is what I was saying is, which ones was I rubbish against and how do I become better? But that also, people are also going to be doing, oh, we know he plays this kind of formation. We can see his highlights. How can I beat him? So that's where this variance and this difference of scores and metrics and all that will start coming in, because I'll know that if I'm going against someone that's pretty much always plays a five at the back, that I need to maybe get more attacking, get the guys up, do whatever, be on the front foot, that kind of thing. But they might hit me on the counter. But at the same time, if we're against active managers, to your point, Bruce, he's thinking, well, I know he always plays 4-1-2-1-2. I'm not going to play my five at the back, maybe. I might do something different. And you're going to start having a bit more variety, because I know I'm looking at it thinking, right, so this is staying, but I can't play 4-1-2-1-2 sustainably all the time because I lose games, and I'm losing it because I'm being like stuck in my ways. But I can actually go, right, let's have a look at those games. Can I make this formation have people push out, or can I do something different, or do I just need to change the player instructions and play to different strengths against different things? I don't know. That's what it will allow.
That has already been happening, though. Not with everyone, but that does already happen. Like Adam is a big thingy of it. It does happen, especially in the upper league. That already happens in just the one season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think to back to Adam's point, as the big concern is like if this stays it, someone will find a meta. They will, because look at FM24. That's the perfect example. It had the same engine for 2 years. By the end of FM24, everyone was playing the exact same formation, the exact same tactic, because it was the one that worked. Because people that worked out had too long to work it out and see everything that worked, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think we have to see what the cadence comes out at.
Mm-hmm.
We have to see the cadence, what they come out at. And again, it's the same thing. They'll give it a season or two. They'll take the feedback. They'll assess the data, and then they'll come up with a cadence. I think it's one of those topics though, and like that we could talk on for the next 2-3 hours. And I say that because when I recorded with Jimbo, we didn't have this same conversation. Thankfully, it's really good because we all have different mindsets, and I think you'll be surprised, Big Mr. K, when you listen to that from Jimbo's side. But again, it was the same thing. Like, this is a big, contentious to a degree, but also interesting conversation. Like, and I totally get it. And every time you guys are saying something, it's making me also then think like, well, maybe I'm thinking of that wrong or that right or whatever. And it's so big, isn't it? Like,
I don't think there's a wrong and a right answer as to what they do with the engine. I don't think there is, and it is their discretion, and I trust them to run the game. That point about the meta idea, I don't believe there ever will be a meta. There are stronger formations seemingly in the engine. Certain quirks to the engine, certain styles of play seem to be a bit more optimal. Engine to engine, we have seen that, or certain attributes, certain composition of players seem to do more frequently well. I don't believe by the end of next season we will have a meta based on what I've seen this season, because for every formation or tactic or setup that seems to do well, there is always a counter to it, and it doesn't work for everyone. I still see that variety, and I think going back to that point that you made before, Bruce, about better team, play better, didn't win. That also contradicts the idea, well, if there is a meta, it doesn't matter. They have the better team with the right players. They can still get beaten by bottom of the league. We've done bugger all. We've got 40% fitness, and the manager ain't doing anything. He sacked it off. They can still lose. I do think we'll have that, and I don't believe we will get a meta. I think people will more likely gravitate based on who do they believe is doing well, what did they play, do they stay to the same formation, and we might see some more consistency, because this has been a season where I've seen most variety against formations. I've had a lot more teams, but a lot of variety in the same league, especially in Flint. It's been really fascinating. I've come across all sorts. Some work, some don't, and that's fine. What I can say is some formations that have been good in previous engines that I've hated playing against don't seem to work very well this season. I've seen managers move away from the, 3-4-3 diamond. I hated playing that against that formation. It killed me in the final last year, in the cup final for my silver team. Gutted. I've played it 3 or 4 times this season. It looked awful. I lost against it once, but watching it play out, it looked dreadful. It wasn't as exciting as it was, which really lends itself again to Bruce saying, like, it doesn't seem as exciting, this engine. I get a lot of excitement and buzz out the teams. This is what I loved about having so many clubs this season, because one club doesn't go to plan. I've got another 8. It's horrendous when loads of them don't work, but by and large, it's quite exciting. So, yeah, I think we have to see how this one pans out. I think we will still get tweaks, but it's still the same engine, but it will have patches, and that might tweak things. I do want the goalkeepers addressing, because I do think there's some weird goalkeeping scenarios. I had a bizarre one last night. If you don't mind me showing for 2 seconds before we move on, we might not go on to the trial clubs this week. Because I think we've
I think we'll bang into next week.
Let's pin it. Let's put a pin in it.
Bruce, what I was just going to say, I think we're all saying similar things but different with different opinions. But at the end of it, we're all agreeing that it's a good thing that they get sustainability.
100%.
The thing that just popped to my mind,
because it's not fun.
No, I think I think the thing that popped to my mind is it must be a difficult decision to make in terms of growth as well, because you've got people like Mr. K, and I know you're similar to a degree, and I'm less like that. Sorry, Mr. K. I'll let
Don't
you
worry. No, I was getting it ready.
That really looks and engages in opposition and looks at formation and tactics, and I think Mr. K probably does that heaps. You're kind of middle ground, and I don't do that often. I do, the way I always play is like, I'll set myself up, you try and beat me because I'm going to win. Like, I
And
know
there's
that's not
nothing
the
wrong
right
with that.
way.
No, there's
But as
nothing
this
wrong with that.
Yeah, but as this platform grows and gets hundreds more people, thousands more people, you've got to have a base, haven't you? Because otherwise, it's how do you do it without penalising the engaged managers? I think that's the key. I think that's the key takeaway for this. How do you get an engine that you're comfortable with, that you still develop and build on, that you don't penalise the engaged managers, and it doesn't make people want to have an instant result button? Because that's the key. That's one of the key things that stuck in my mind. I didn't like hearing that, by the way. Like, not offense to you. I just didn't like the feeling that gave me when you went, I could just hit instant result. I don't care about that. And this game can't allow that, because it's not what it's about. And that is literally nothing personal to you at all. It's like, it made me feel sad as a player of MFL that someone wants to just get the result. Because it probably makes you sad to say it. So we need to find a way through it.
Because like I said, every season I've loved watching my matches. I watch every match. I still do now. I hate it now. I'm not having fun, and I'm still watching every match. Like, it brings me no joy saying that, but it is how I feel. Like, because it's just, I think what they need to do, up the goals. You know, if not up the goals, stop programming the strikers to miss as much as they do, because it's ridiculous how much they miss. I think the variety in goals. I remember last season, and I know people don't like last season because it was goal fest, but I saw goals I'd never seen before. I was like, oh my God, that's class goal.
It was end to end.
Yeah, this one though, I'm seeing the same goals. There needs more variety in the goals that are getting scored to keep it exciting. I don't want the predictability of, I've seen this goal. The highlights started. My right back's giving away the ball. I know exactly what's going to happen. He's going to run in. He's going to pass it across. The guy's going to score. I've seen that so many times this season, and yeah, I think if they address that and they address it well, this engine will be fine. I'll probably be happy with it. It's very boring right now for me.
No, that's fair. Right,
I'm going to preface this game. I'm going to preface this game before I show you the goal. I didn't predict the lineup he was going to play. I thought he'd play a different tactic. He went with the 5-4-1, and I wasn't expecting it. I set with a 4-2-4-4-2-B. It didn't work, and we were getting done over. If I go over to that's why I pulled it up quickly. We were in the game. We weren't creating a lot, but up to this point, we lost 2-0 in the end. But I was like, we're in the game. We're just defending well, keeping it solid, no problem. But it's an example of the goalkeeper behaviour again that I'm looking. When you watch it back, and I'm like, you get beaten by a goal, or it's a soppy goal, or it's a saved and then they've got a tap in. These things happen, but some of them, they just feel weird RNG sort of type of vibe, and I'm like, I can't do anything about that. I feel hard done by, and I don't want to feel like that while trying to enjoy a game, and I'm really invested in this team. So my second goal, totally fine, legit, good goal actually, good finish. But this one was incredibly frustrating. I've got a 1.25. So crap pass. It happens, whatever. Go down the other end, cross, shot. To me, my goalkeeper's got the ball there, and I'm just going to let it run quick for a second, and I'll look to pause it as we get close to it, and I'll just put it on normal speed. So pause there, put it on 1 for now, and shot saved. I think onto the crossbar. Put it on 0.5. Goalkeeper goes to gets it. He's there. And I remember watching it normal speed, and I was like, that ruined that game for me. Because as soon as that happened, I was like, well, now what? Can't set up for that. And I've had an alarming amount of those higher up the divisions than I have lower down the divisions, because I've got a good spread. I barely see anything like that in the lower leagues at all, but seeing in the higher leagues, it seems to happen a lot. I've had the ones where the goalkeeper saves it, like it's active, he saves it, and it goes off at like a 45-degree angle, goes in the far corner. I'm like, okay. Or the shoot across goal, keeper saves it, and it goes back on itself into the other corner. I've had lots of weird ones. I really want that sorting out, because it just doesn't look right, and it just kills the vibe of the game, that particular game. And then I'm like, well, I've lost this one. What's the next game? And I just go to the next one. So, yeah.
I know it's not quite the same, but did anybody see the guy who posted the highlight last night in Discord of his own player banging it in from 30 odd yards, an own goal? Like, what? That should never happen. That should
that's
never happen.
Oops.
Like,
But has it ever happened in real life? Let's just be clear.
maybe in Sunday League.
There's some
Maybe
match
in Sunday-
fixing. There's been a bit of match fixing, thinking like an African
Yeah.
league and stuff like that you see on Twitter going viral. But yeah, I accept all those things. Because I'd also like to point out, before we go off on a tangent and we're like, right, we're just going to bitch and moan about everything, is going back to a while ago where we basically told everyone to stop being a bitch and complaining about the match engine because it's just a visual representation of a calculation. I'm just going to throw that one back out there. That still pertains. I still maintain that, hence why I've not gone off on rambles. And literally, in my shared silver team, I just went, what in the blue fuck was that? Okay, next game, and carried on. It just is what it is. And I'd say I've had more against, but the more memorable when they happen against you, but I've also got it in my favour. I've had that as well. I've had, like, don't know how we scored that. Take it. Is what it is. Shit happens. Anyway, I would love people's take on the match engine, so do comment, do get in touch, do join our Discord server and tell us what you think. However, if you're going to come in and try and pump a meme coin, you're going to get hoiked, because I don't take any prisoners with that one. You're out. But yeah, do join, do let us know what you think, because it's interesting. We've got a lot more people coming in and having a chat. But yeah, none of us 100x our potential meme, Dogecoin, whatever bullshit that they were peddling in the last couple of days. So yeah, if you want to chat MFL, do join. If you want to do that sort of stuff, sod off.
39 members, and there's a prize when we get to 50.
Is there? Excellent. Right then. So we're now over to a section of the pod that most people seem to enjoy the most, and we love the fact you're enjoying it the most, guys. So do keep letting us know what you think and what you want us to do next, because we're on to Tactics Corner. We're now on to 352B was the voted one this week. What was the other option, Root? I can't remember what the other one was that didn't get voted in.
We had 352B, we had 433 false 9, and 541, which I just chucked in there as well.
Okay.
I've put a note to myself that I need to go back to our first pod and write them down, because I had them in a spreadsheet, then got lazy on so many and haven't done it. And that's why when you were like, haven't we done this one? I was like, I know we haven't, but we did one very similar.
Right,
So
I think keep the two that didn't get voted in and add an additional, and just keep that rolling system going. So
boring though, innit? I just get to the day and I just go to the list that's on it and go, these ones.
We've got the same. We've got the same match engine for 2 seasons now, so it doesn't matter.
True.
We can just sort of cycle back through now. But yeah, it's interesting. I think keep the two on that didn't get voted in, and we'll add a third, and just go from there.
Yes,
but do vote, guys. Let us know what you want to see next. Any of you guys want to go
I'm not
first?
going to do that. Go on.
I can to bring a bit of positivity, I think.
Oh yes, please,
Okay,
Come on,
Mr.
Bruce.
Sunshine.
Hey.
because honestly,
Did you see? Before you go any further, have you noticed your on-screen thing that I've given you today?
Yes, I'm ignoring
Yes, I
it now.
saw Ronaldo.
Yeah, excellent. Yes, good.
Ronaldo, yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
cheers.
you're welcome.
When we don't mention it, you realise it's hitting us more. So don't worry.
So yeah, I'm going to switch a bit positive because I've actually fallen in love with the formation. Like this 3-5-2-B is brilliant. Now I used it in Fortress, which, as you know, if you've been following along, the big problem with this team is goal scoring because I've got strikers with terrible shooting, and it carries over. And I'd love to see this team, and I think what I'm going to do is, if we don't get promoted, then obviously this experiment is over, and I think what I'm going to do is ask Ron John if I can just switch it around and see if he'll let me keep the players and get in a couple of good strikers and run 3-5-2 for a season, because it's a really good formation. I've found it very, very strong. I started out here against this bronze, it says bronze team, it's actually an iron team, and I put in how I wanted us to play, and we lost 1-0, and again, the problem was just goal scoring. So I was like, oh, this seems pretty good. So I carried on, a couple of little tweaks, carried on, and then we just started winning. I would have scored more goals here if there was better strikers, honestly. Same with this one. I lost, but I didn't care, because it was like, with better strikers, I would have won that game. Same here with this draw. And I mean, I know someone like Jimbo probably isn't seeing, he's not used to seeing this many wins with the 3-5-2-B. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do it. So, I'll teach you how to play the formation. Carried on going here. Lost it a little bit here with a couple of the tweaks. Got it straight back. And again, we just it was just very successful. I found it very, very good. And if we're keeping this same boring, annoying engine, then I think I want to, on this team, run this formation because I might get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. So, yeah, key things for this formation. Your wide players need to have defence. Where's the attributes? There you go. Wide players need to have defence.
Agreed.
Your centre-backs, I can get away with this here, with the middle one being slow. I don't think it's that much of a problem. Your outside ones, like if I was going to carry them, I'd probably get rid of this guy and try and find a faster centre-back. Your
Agreed.
outside ones have to be fast. If you don't have that, I don't think this is going to work. If you've got really slow centre-backs, especially the way I'm playing, it's not going to work. So I'll start off with the instructions. And again, I've just kept it in the middle. We've already got a left mid. We've already got a right mid. There's no reason to go. I think another time when we've not eaten through the time with the topic of the week, I'll go into this a little bit more in depth. And I'll tell you why in some formations, going wider is really hurting you. And this would have been one of them. So I've just kept it here in the middle. We've still got the width with the left and right mid. You don't need to go any further because what it does is it pulls apart these triangles. Mr. K mentioned last week about having triangles and passing triangles. This one has them everywhere. And if you pull this out wide, you're splitting up those triangles. Whereas if you just keep it in the middle, you've got triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here, triangle here. Like, they're everywhere. And because of that as well, you have to play controlled. I think if you're playing direct or balanced in this formation, you're completely bypassing one of its big strengths. So I played controlled. Balanced on flank preference, take less long shots, crossing balance, dribble less often, and I went more offensive. And then down here, and this is why it really, really works, is team depth is high, right before the H, right here. And again, I'll tell you why this works in a little bit. And then in here is in the middle on compactness, and then I went more often, more aggressive, and play out of defence. So then we will go into the player instructions. First thing I want to highlight is these wide players. I have them on cross more often, risky passing, and high positional freedom. There are gaps out here, out wide, when you're defending, but it's so rare because you're playing such a high line, you've got controlled, you don't really have to defend that much. Like, you just smother the opposition team completely. So I have this on high. They will come back. They will go forward. They're equal parts. They'll go forward and back. But I didn't find them defending very often because we were just smothering our opponents every single time. So yeah, I kept them on high, which I felt was very important. All three centre-backs, just low position and freedom. I don't want these wandering up. There's only 3 of them. I don't want them wandering off. The right DM, I didn't touch anything. This one, because he's got good passing for an ice team, I put him on risky passing. Didn't touch anything else. The cam, put him on risky passing. Again, good passing. My strikers, I put on cross less often and conservative on both of them. And that's it. And like I said, it's just there are triangles everywhere. You create chances all the time and you're really not worried about the defence. I know some people, because at first I was like, maybe I should put these guys on low to make sure they're still there and some they can defend. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You will get the odd one-on-one with the keeper. But the beautiful thing is, on this very boring engine, one-on-ones favour the goalkeeper. 9 times out of 10, the goalkeeper will save it or the attacker will put it wide. So if they're getting 1 or 2 through balls a game, oh well, I'll take those odds. They might score one, more than likely they won't. So I don't worry about defending, and we just smother and completely overwhelm the opposition with all our little triangles that are all over the pitch. I did notice it struggles a little bit against the 4-2-3-1. That was one thing I found it did struggle against. But every other formation I went against seemed to blow it out of the water. We just struggled against 4-2-3-1. So if you're coming up against a 4-2-3-1, maybe don't run it. But other than that, it was just an absolutely unreal formation. And like I said, I want to, especially on this engine, I want to run this again just with good strikers, because these strikers here, I don't have to click it. 60 shooting, 61 shooting. It's not good enough for ice. I need better strikers. With these guys in like the 70s, 80s, this would tear teams apart. It would absolutely tear teams apart. So yeah, a bit positive considering everything I've done. But 3-5-2, I've fallen in love with that formation. The way this plays, I've totally.
It's still one of my favourites. It was like the first formation I fell upon, because if I was going to set up a team in any way, or when I played Sunday League or Saturday League or the standards I got to and stuff, I was often playing either up front and slowly move back to a DM, then back to a centre back. 3-5-2B, that sort of variation of it, was just so good. Actually sitting there and playing it, because you always had someone open.
Yes.
If you played it well, there was always a pass on, no matter where you were on the pitch. There's a pass. And that's what I like about it. And I can see why a 4-2-3-1, because that's what I use against the 3-5-2-B, because I know it can be. It's also how it's set up. Because if you can get in behind and you're on the back line, they've equally got triangles. So it's basically a case of, well, who comes out on top in that particular matchup. I was going to query about your goalkeeper out of curiosity, because weirdly, we're incredibly similar in the 3-5-2-B. I've had that very close to yours, and I've had a different version because of particular reasons as well. Yeah. I've had one with a low line and one with a very high line. I like the high line more, but it depends who I'm playing. Because in some teams, the defence aren't pacey enough and I haven't got the options. So I have a version that is more drop back and more balanced, less conservative. And it still can replicate similar sort of outcomes, but it needs more individual instructions, whereas the one you've got and the one I've got with a higher line, less instructions. But your goalkeeper, you had nothing on your goalkeeper. And I'm one of those suckers, it's like, I don't want you hoofing it. Because I seem to see replays where you do hoof it, and they get the ball back, and then they get on our goal. And I've conceded. And it annoys the hell out of me.
It's because it's on use team instructions, and my team instructions are controlled and play out.
Still don't trust it. Still don't trust it. It's like, we're going to go back to roots thing of like more offensive squared is what we're going for. It's that mentality. I don't trust it. Goalkeeper, play the ball short. If you don't, you get shot, and then we get another goalkeeper on. But yeah, I was just curious on your thought process there, but that makes complete sense. Because I'm planning on sharing both versions of my 3-5-2-B because of various teams.
Is the other one the one that you shared with me? The one with the really low line? Yeah,
that's the one I've shared previously. Yeah, that's that. I've got that version. I've got the new version, and the new version is the one I built over the mid-season break. And it went. This is like version 5 of it, because I shared version 3 of it in the mid-season with a few people, and then I'm now on version 5 because I was like, actually, I do want to be doing a bit more and just being a bit more aggressive. And I found the same sort of thing. It works well.
Yeah.
Because mine sounds very similar to yours, Bruce. I'm going to put a pin in mine and come to Root, if that's all right with you, mate.
Yeah, fine. No excuses this week. So
of course you have.
Yeah, I will.
Of course you have. Don't let us down.
I've got a couple, don't you worry. So I tested this with a couple of my teams. I kind of get lost with how many I'm testing because I just kind of go between them all. I'm going to take Bruce's line, like, if I had better strikers or better line. No, I'm joking. I liked it. I think I need to approach tactic testing differently. And by that, I mean, I need to find consistency of opponent because it's frustrating me. Because I'm losing games because the opponent's just that much better when it does a random check. And when I was trying to go to MFL coach, for some reason, when I was trying to go to put them on here, it just wasn't doing it. It just kept erroring. I was like getting really frustrated. I'd just like rather press random. But what I think I need to do is sort of like go, right, I'm going to do this tactic. I'm going to find these 3 or 5 clubs I'm going to go against that are similar rated with different formations. And I'm just going to try and beat that same club continuously and and then see if I can find some trend. Because the variance, I keep changing stuff reactively and it's annoying me. And I think I need to just change my approach, I guess.
Can I say the big benefit for doing random and the reason why I do random is because it kind of reflects the league season.
Yeah.
Because you'll come up against random opponents playing different tactics, different formations. And if you just go in and play, right, I'm just going to play these guys who all play 4-3-3-D, it It doesn't
Yeah,
replicate.
no, that's fair.
That's why I do random.
I want to still do random. I just want to find a base that I can keep testing against to build it because I'm really reactive. So I put my tactic together, play a couple of teams. They end up being better than me on random. So I tweak it.
Exactly what I was about to say, Bruce.
Yeah, play one of us. We can set up a team for you and just
that's probably the
there you
best way
go,
of doing it.
run one of us.
Yeah. So anyway, in our Discord was quite good because Andrew Q was in it and he'd obviously had some success with it. And I jokingly went, "Let me know what you've done." He sent me his setup, and it was actually pretty similar to the one I was running by a couple of tweaks. So I ran his for a few games as well, and I was just getting exactly similar results, by the way. But what I could see by watching the highlights is that he was better defensively and I was better attacking. So I ended up trying to find a way to merge them together. So what I end up doing is getting some quite good results here. 2-0, 2-2, 2-0, 1-0. These are all after I'd got to a place I wanted. Then just some like losses, but they were really, really close. And then a win again and so on. And then the same for the trial club was very, very similar. And this is what I mean for consistency. Like, look, like win, 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 draws, win, loss, draw, win, some losses. So close games, though, except for this 6-0. I have no idea what happened. I think I actually don't know if they were even that much better than me. Let's have a quick look. 61, 64, 63, 59, 50. Yeah, so a decent amount better, especially in the midfield. But overall, I enjoyed watching the formation, to be fair, a bit like you said. But, yeah, we'll dive into my setup anyway. So I went slightly wider on the attacking width, which you've obviously gone down the middle. Interestingly, Andrew Q, he had his down the middle, but I was attacking better with this than with his. But anyway, I think as well I'm trying to be different to my normal team too much because I'm trying to not use the same things. I need to stop overthinking this whole thing. I enjoy it though. So take less long shots. I brought the depth down. Interestingly, you went really high. Compactness left in the middle, and I just banged more aggressive on because anytime I'm doing tactics, I'm just doing that now.
It's just
because it's a one game. If I get a red card, I'll just repeat the game or whatever. And it is better. I just don't think I could run it in the league because
I think I'm gonna next season.
Are you gonna? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The entire season.
I'll start from the back. I've just gone with low and defensive on all three of these. Which I had already, and I think on these I went low and risky passing, and the idea of that, and I think this is where I've gone wrong because I think if this was up there, this would be better. Yeah, I get it now from listening to you, and this is why I love doing these, and I love learning as much as the listeners and watchers love learning. So the idea I was trying to create here was trying to get these guys like primarily attacking, and these guys just smacking some nice long balls up to them and stuff. But it wasn't working. But now when I'm reflecting on it, obviously it's not because they're here. If I'm up here, they will be. Because actually these don't move up that much, but these guys do, looking at the image. Then on the left and right, I just went them getting more direct. So if they got the ball, I just wanted them to get it into the box. So I kind of did my risky passing from the back. This guy more offensive to get in the box. And then on here, I think I went direct, balanced long shots so they weren't on less long shots and then more offensive. So it's a bit of so it just seemed to work in that sense. But like I say, all the games are just quite high scoring. Obviously that one for them, but 3-3, 2-3, 3. I'm just getting lots of draws. I just was struggling to win. And I don't know. And you know what? On this club, I can't put it down to the strikers because at this level, they're not particularly bad. This guy's got a 60. And then this guy's got a 59. They're not massively strike, but they're Flint Club, don't forget.
Yeah.
Like, maybe, I don't know. But I just couldn't get it to win. But what I did do as well is, I'm going to stop sharing on that. So that's all the setup. What I did do is, on each of all my clubs, which I'm not going to go into all the details, I ran Andrew's Q formation, which he was literally having loads of luck with, and getting very similar results to what I'm getting there. So I'm not going to go down the factors because I didn't have the left mids and the right mids, even though I fully believe that's why.
It'll play a factor.
It'll play a factor. And it just is what it is. I still enjoy doing the tactic testing. I think I enjoy this section more. I could just listen to you guys do the section, but, it's only right I do my homework as well. So, yeah. Don't follow me on this one. Follow Bruce. Or Mr. K. Let's see what you've got.
Hey, it's all good, mate. It's all good.
If he's similar, I imagine he's getting similar results with it because it's very effective.
Well, what I decided with 352B was I'd already done a load of testing with 352B before all of this, and I've been using it. So I've built all of my teams to be able to play 352B and 4231 at the start of the season because they're good for rotations and resting players and number of teams, and had a load of teams all of a sudden. So I was like, I want to be able to manage it easily if I need to do that. And then I've gone into all sorts. Been using that 3-4-2-1 that we did earlier this season quite a bit in Flint because I've enjoyed it. Anyway, I'll go to... Which one is it? That one. Here is the version where if you don't have the defenders with the pace that I set up, which is different, and it's different to the one that Bruce has done. This is one where I'm on balanced for directors, flank preference, less long shots, crossing more often, which I've started to remove on a lot of tactics, but I've kept in for this one for the time being because I liked it. I brought it a bit more narrow because I wanted to be a bit compact, and the idea was to progress a bit quicker with the in-game instructions. So I'm on about, 40% in terms of narrowness and stuff. Very low line, it's around the 20% mark. Tight block around the 40% because you can't do anywhere in between, which I really wish we could. It seems to indicate you can, but it won't let you bloody do it. The standard age-old trigger press more often, balance aggressive, and play out defence. Really boring. Usual thing with the goalkeeper, play it out. Defenders, conservative passing and low. What I do find with me setting up the teams like this is your defence and like the solidity, as long as you're not conceding a load of goals, they get really good match ratings on the regular. Yeah. But what you'll notice with my centre-backs, and I've put a few in just as an example, is I've got one at 76 pace, great, but I've got one at 59, one at 55, and the other one that can play CB is this DM who's very good. I think he's an 84 rated centre-back now with progression this season. He's got 67. So I'm not blessed with pace, and it's silver. You're going to find pacey strikers and wingers. I'm asking for trouble with a high line, so I couldn't do it. The most defensive DM that can't do anything else really other than defend is dribble less, risky passing, low positional freedom. The other that can maybe do a bit more, less long shots because I don't want my DM shooting because they can't shoot, and risky passing, that's it. Wide men are important in this one. You've got to have good ones, and equally ones with half decent defending. So the one here, 71 defence, and my left one is got 86 defending. So good defensive wide men. So good there. But the direct, less long shots, cross more often, dribble more, risky, and I've got up front all of them doing this because I haven't got any pressing otherwise at all with having such a low line. And I do force a lot of turnovers with this. Do pick up a few more bookings, but it's not been too bad this year for that. So they do all the aggressive stuff, same on the left. Cam, direct, dribble more, risky passing, and then the pressing instructions. For the strikers, they've got the same pressing instructions, so the aggressive and the pressing more. Direct, conservative passing, and more offensive. Conservative passing with the intention of they've not got good passing, and I don't have a problem with them squaring it across the box. Because I'm trying to encourage that in some cases, and I've got the team instruction to cross more often, so I've not told them to cross less. And it's been, against the right formation, the right setup, the right opponent, it's been really effective. If you get it wrong, you get killed. Because you just can't get out. And it's just defend, wave after wave after wave. And when you do get chances, they struggle. So what happens 9 times out of 10 is defence perform well, midfield does okay, strikers do crap, they get poor match ratings, and it's very an even game. And it can go either way, it's on a knife edge. So it's fairly solid, but nothing really exciting. Boring. More interesting version. And now Sierra's been a naughty boy because he's picked up too many bookings, he didn't get sent off. This is the one where I've got more pace, I've got options. So I've got one defender on 78 pace and another on 77. The slowest one I tend to put in the middle, 65. Same thought process as you, Bruce, there. And they're not bad for physicality, and they've got the high defensive sort of things. I did have conservative passing because they've got crap passing generally across the board apart from the centre one. But I removed it because what they kept doing is just recycling the ball between them. And it was annoying the crap out of me. This is going to seem familiar, Bruce. Balance width. Controlled, less long shots, dribble less because I wanted those quicker transitions. I don't want them holding onto the ball, I don't need it. And I did try balance and I tried more offensive, and I've settled on more offensive with the testing. I went with that high positional, that high line.
Shit. That is literally the same.
Like someone just looked over a table in exam class and just wrote down the same answer.
I literally had this.
Next time, can you share with me, guys? Don't leave me out to look silly on pod.
What I did do is, as the goalkeeper, here's the question where I came from, because I still got it on here with that goalkeeper. I had these guys on conservative, like I said before, but they kept recycling the ball, and they just weren't progressive, and it was annoying the hell out of me. I have got. I have less long shots on the DMs because with the pressing they can turn the ball over, or the defense does, and then they're in a good position, and they kept hitting stupid hopeful shots, and I was like, why? I don't want you doing it. So it's like double or nothing. You're not taking long shots. The other guy, again, just less long shots. He was like, if I've got one DM, he's like the one that's going to sit there, just be the anchor and break everything up. The other one can be a little bit more expressive. The wide men are what would cross more. I did have that pressing instruction on. This is where I went from version 4 to version 5, is because I've got that highlight and I was doing that pressing. As soon as one guy missed the challenge, the guys have overcommitted and we're getting screwed, we're getting countered too easy, so I took that off. I have toyed and played around with off and on with this crossing more often because I'm really uncertain about it. I've just kept it on with this current iteration and I sort of make a judgment call on the day. The cam, risky passing, I did have direct and I did have dribble more. I keep putting it on and off based on opponents because if I think that I'm going to have space there, I'm happy for him to dribble. If he's going to have a DM on him, I don't want him dribbling because he's often a lot weaker physically and I do notice that difference there. The left side is slower, but I've still got these things on because he's progressed loads, but he's not the fastest, but he's really good at passing and dribbling. So I also had him... I wanted cross left often on him because I actually wanted him to pass, not cross. And that's what I was looking for. So I've toyed around with that one and I've got another guys a bit faster. Where we do differ is up front, slightly. I did have cross left often on because when I did cross, they kept floating it and I wanted them just to sweaty pass it if they need to. I did have one on low positional freedom, and I found it was working. When it worked, it worked. When it didn't, they had crap ratings, really bad. The other one, because he's faster, I tend to do this if I feel like he can do something, because he's in bronze here. He's got 82 pace, he's got good finishing, but crap physical. I don't want him getting marked. I have high positional freedom. Yeah. Because he's on more offensive, it doesn't mean he gets back too often, but he does drop it on the odd occasion, which is annoying. But he finds lots of pockets and he pulls players out of position. It creates gaps for that cam to move into or the winger to move into. And it just creates a lot of space. It's a lot of fun, this one. I haven't actually used it in matches yet because we've not had much of the second half of the season. But we'll go to the friendly that I was running. Well, I just thought I'll just chuck one on. And they are drawing. And one of my defenders is playing horrific. Yeah, these aren't good goals and stuff. So yeah, I've got a friendly running in the background that's just ended up in a draw. Creating more chances, lots of shots off targets and lots of shot blocks. That's what I tend to see more in mine. I see shots blocked rather than shots off target. And yeah, they've got some high XG chances there by the looks and scored in the last couple of minutes. But yeah, I haven't got in-game match instructions. But if I'm doing the in-game instructions, I tend to go controlled. Because I usually run balance, I usually go controlled or tweak the controlled instructions when I'm winning. And if I'm not winning, I'm then switching more to a direct style of play, if it works. And I've been using them around the 60-70 minute mark, and they have done all right, actually. I do find they tend to work. Because I tend to find most managers don't use them at all so far, I've noticed.
The fact that we've done that similar, we've maybe just found the 352B meta, mate.
I like the 352B, that one. And in that game that I just showed you, that friendly, my team was stronger. They were definitely the stronger team. And it was against formation you don't usually play against. I'll give it that. I think it was a 4-3-1-2. Yeah. 4-3-1-2. They've played well at the back. We haven't. We've struggled at the back. But one assist is from a centre-back and the other one's from a DM. Because there's so much option of variety. But I think on the balance of probabilities, it's a very good formation. But I think you have to match it up against a good opposing formation as well. You can't just plug and play.
I think what would be good if you can is obviously because we've got the Discord with the tactics corner in. I know obviously the pod will come out, so it doesn't need to be done today. But on the day the pod comes out, or however you want to position it, it'd be really good if we could get into the habit of maybe posting the screenshot in and just maybe the instructions you give the players, so everyone can sort of have a go at it and build it.
But does that stop people from watching the pod and then just going on the Discord and copying?
I think not, because they're going to have to talk about it, right?
Okay, what we'll do is we'll give them roots tactics, and then once we get to we have to hit certain figures on watching a video, and then we'll release more. If we get so many likes, so many comments, so many views, then we'll release more tactics, otherwise you've got to watch it.
Okay. Well, whatever. I'm not going to share mine. You can share it for me.
Well, everyone can have
whatever you
Roots
wanna do.
tactics, and then if you engage with our pod more and you watch it, we hit certain figures, then we'll make that judgment call and we'll share them. But yeah, otherwise you have to stop and start the video and go from there.
Yeah.
Fair
Or
enough.
the podcast version if you listen to that. So we are rapidly racking up the minutes here, guys. So I think we will very quickly talk about play progression. If there's anything you want to shout out about, it tends to slow up this second half of the season. Obviously, we've hit a certain percentage of games engaged with, etc., etc. Anybody in particular want to shout anything out either this season and or the last week or so in terms of progression that they want to call upon? Because I've not really got anything apart from a 16-year-old goalkeeper rare going up a +1.
Yeah, I'll just say the right back that we showed last week, he's still progressing. He's got another +1, so he's on like a +4 in just over a week. So he's going really well. And then one of my lads that's in the dev centre, in his final season in the dev centre, in dev jail, has decided to realise why he's in there, and he started to like pound on again a +4 in like just over a week. So he's got another half a season to carry on remembering what it is, but he's going to come out of it. But nothing I need to show on screen. I think I've put a couple of tweets out about them. I think I even put one of the lads in the showcase in the Discord as well. So try and get some momentum going in that section.
Cool. You, Bruce?
I've got quite a few +1s, but the main one that I was really happy about, my star striker Moskalenko, he got a +1, and the reason I bring it up is because he got a +1, and then over the past couple of days, he's been getting +1s, like multiple of them, and he's playing, so I'm like, does this mean he's about to hit 82?
On a heater.
Like,
On a heater.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. I mean, obviously it slows down, but the fact that he got 2 today in training, I think he got passing, and I mean, defence is shit, but the fact he got it anyway, and I was like, ooh, does this mean it's going to be really quickly 82? So that'll be interesting to see next week.
Yeah, his physical and his dribbling are going up. Have you got that plug-in, that one I was showing you last week, that MFL?
I don't use any of the plugins.
No, fair enough.
I really should. I think I should.
It will show you that bar. I know you can use other third-party sites, which is something we should really cover at some point in the pod, is different third-party sites that you should make use of. But it will show you a bar under the players as how many more stats in the right areas they need to then go up to the next one. Because I would say dribbling and physicality is his tick-over points, really, by the look of this.
Yeah.
I know he needs a bit, but then if he juices in pace or shooting a bit more, he's going to go up.
Yeah.
I use that now, that plugin, and like it's good because when I'm getting frustrated that somebody's not going up, I can clearly see they're actually a million miles away from being able to. Or
So
some that are
if
close,
we do
I can
that,
get, like seeing it.
Yeah, if we do that on a pod, then we'll just include links to all these different third parties. We can always do some outreach to the guys who run these different sites, because I've done it before when I've done content, and they're always really chill about sharing them. More than happy to, so we'll do that. Because what we'll wrap the pod up with, we've got a grand total of 4 questions. So let's fire through those super quick. Feel free to jump fast fire. So we've got from Rory G. Might have been answered previously, but how did you all first find MFL? When did you join and what inspired the content creation? Anyone want to pick up at any aspect of that? Just trying to think of boom, boom, boom. Let's fire through.
Watch the manager spotlight that Jimbo's got to have out, because I've got into that on that one.
Good answer. There you go. So you're going to have to watch Wendirk. Bruce, yourself, anything you want to shout out there?
Mine was basically because FM had thingied for the year. I was waiting for FM 25, and then it got cancelled, and then I saw Work the Space mention about MFL, and I'd heard about MFL back in 2022 when it first came out, because I was in the NFT scene. But at that point when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's a cool idea. But I was so jaded with like gaming NFTs at that point that I was like, fuck it. But then when I saw Work the Space mention it again, I was like, oh, I remember that. Clicked on it, looked at it, and I was like, oh, this is actually working. This is looking really good. And that's when I started lurking and watching. So yeah.
Mine was similar. Midway through season 5, seen it a couple of times, thought about it. I saw Bled had talked about it, I saw Quinny had talked about it, I saw Nep talking about it, because I'd been involved in So Rare for a little bit, and I'd walked away from it because I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. It wasn't my vibe. I just decided I'd had enough of it, and that's fine. You play it or you don't. Fine. But I wasn't going to sit there and bitch and moan about it, which is what a lot of people seem to like to do with that platform. And I hated that community around it, like this, the horror, how nasty it gets. Whereas this community, I think you have to look really hard to find someone being like that, and I liked that aspect of it, really got into it. And from the content creation side, I found I enjoyed it that much, and I had this new passion that I really enjoyed. And
Just share it.
I've made content before, but not for YouTube, for various different purposes. And you might have picked up, I'm not exactly shy of retiring. And I thought, sorry, what happens if something happens and it picks up? Great, let's do it. Went for a niche because it's just got catered to my interests and stuff. And to be honest, since we started doing the pod, I've not really been making any content.
I'm the same.
I'm just enjoying this more.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this more. I might well go back to it at some point, but I think more inspiration, more ideas. But I love doing this, so I'm just happy to sink my time into this and then doing more community engagement stuff. Next one, Ricky Hyde. How will the addition of injuries change your squad planning for next season? Just add a few extra backups in the squad, or try and keep a lean squad of players who can cover multiple positions. I think we need more context on injuries. Is my take. Like if a player gets injured, how long are we talking? Like severity of injuries? Is it just like a suspension? Because there's no 3-match suspensions.
Did you not see the interview with Mathurin a while back?
Potentially, it might be one that I've not really engaged that aspect of it.
It's not going to be. People think it's going to be like a season-long injury. He says the worst is probably going to a bad injury is probably going to be like 3 or 4 games. It's going to be more like a red card suspension, which I don't think is that bad because it just adds a little bit more chaos, really. So I don't think it's that bad.
It'll make a rotation if you are a 17-18 difficult.
That'll be impossible. That'll be impossible.
I don't think it's worthwhile anymore.
No, it's not.
It won't be.
It'll be fine from go on.
No, you go.
I was just going to say it'll be fine if you've got backup cover like I have my left back and right backs, but anywhere outside of that, it's never going to happen anymore.
Devil's advocate. Yeah, you both left backs get injured.
Yeah.
That's where your tactical flexibility at the same time, as well as own
that'll
backups.
add to that.
Yeah, that's what you need to account for.
My plan was to have a 22 to start with, a 22-man squad, a backup for everyone. Backup for everyone, and then the last 3 spots were going to be maybe slightly lower rated players or older players who are versatile.
Old players.
So if that both left backs get suspended, I've got a third one who maybe plays 1 game a season who can come in and cover. So I'll probably run a full 25 man. I'll probably run a full 25.
Because you want to optimise for progression and lots of match XP and the training and all these other things, but then you want your utility man, the guy, your Scott Carsons, who just put the numbers up on the squad. They fit the criteria. They fit certain things. You want that, and old players are that, and they're dirty.
And to be fair, you could even bring someone in that's already got a retirement symbol, and maybe even retire at the end of that season.
Exactly.
No matter what you are, a couple of dollars or whatever, bang. If he plays a game, brilliant. If he doesn't, who cares?
Absolutely. But then there's again that it just stimulates the market a little bit more, which is going to be interesting for that dynamic. People approach it in different ways. The next one, Ben, in that case, is a Jaffa cake, a cake or a biscuit?
Piss off! It's a cake.
It's a cake.
Okay.
You can't dunk a Jaffa cake.
Okay.
Well, you can, but you shouldn't.
Bruce, I know we've had that sort of pod. Calm down. Don't take it out on Ben.
It's a cake. It's not even a question.
It's a cake.
It's a Jaffa cake. It's called a cake. Yeah. It's a cake. Anyway, so Andrew Q, which pod host would look best in Sydney Sweeney's silver dress? Well, it depends if you're a leg man, if you're an ass guy.
I replied to that when he asked the question, which I think, let me find what
we'll do a who wore it best on a special episode. There you go.
my question
was... AI! We'll just get AI to do it. We'll
feed
our faces into AI and say, put our faces on this dress.
My answer was, I'm happy to help her out of it, and whilst one of you two get in it. That was my answer, pretty much.
You've got weird kinks, mate. Why do you want us there?
I don't know. And now I've said it, and now it's out there.
Excellent.
And I don't know which bit I'm interested in watching.
Right, we're going to leave the pod there, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, let's leave it there, actually.
In all seriousness, thanks very much, gents. We've tried to... No, we haven't. Really haven't tried to keep time down. But we won't. One day we might do.
We're not going to ever try. We've given that up.
We have. I know some people have been saying, look, I really enjoy this particular section of the pod. I don't want to have to listen to all of it. To that, tough. But we can look to, potentially, if people are nice... We can look to put, what do you call them, in chapters or...
How? I don't know how to do that.
It's on the YouTube channel thing. Go ahead.
Can I just say, no.
Okay.
I don't think we should, right? Because I liken it to, I'm a big UFC fan, right? So they'll put on their monthly shows, and I'll look at the main event, and based on the main event, I'll decide whether I'm going to watch it, right? Now, when I watch the UFC show, I'll watch the undercard as well, and I'll see some good fights on the undercard. They'll be good, and then the main event comes around, cool, right? If the main event was first, I'm not going to watch the fucking undercard.
Do you know what? I agree, because I don't want them knowing if I go first, second, or third on the tactics corner. I want them to have to watch all of it. And if I'm in the middle or I'm first, you're going to have to watch through it. If you want to skip ahead, we'll see that.
If we do chapters for the tactics corner, we'll have a chapter for Root, and then we'll have a chapter for the rest of the tactics corner.
Before you do wrap up, Mr. K, I do think we need to say it's our 10th episode. How we got here.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to us. It's been amazing, hasn't it? Like 10 episodes, we're here, we're loving it. It's gone better than we ever could have imagined. Thanks to everybody that's literally followed us on X, watching all the content on YouTube, and the podcast, the listeners on the podcast. There's a lot of you out there, and obviously now diving into the Discord. So yeah, from an idea of Mr. K's, like, let me do some collaboration with people, to Bruce and I getting involved in it, becoming what it is now, and all of us just like doing what we do. I'm going to be sensible saying thanks. Bruce, you definitely go after me, because whatever Mr. K says, like, I'm hoping everyone just tunes out.
I do want to say, because we just said about the guy who mentioned that, how we should put Tactics Corner as its own pod. We were throwing shade. I do also want to highlight what Elsie said, and he was like, Tactics Corner is by far the best MFL content out there right now. And I just want to say, for anybody, just one person to say that is like... wow, thank you. Because there is some great MFL content. Amreezy, The Ramble, Wendare, Quinny. There's some great MFL content out there. So for someone just one person to say it's the best MFL content out there by far, like, wow, that is massive compliment. Thank you so much for thinking that. And we're glad you all enjoy it. But we won't be separating it, because it is our USP. Like, it's what sets us apart. So, yeah, it's... yeah. I just wanted to say
you got to wade through 2 hours. I won't continue the glazing that was taking place in the audience, but I appreciate the sentiments, boys. I think you've got very good points there. But let's leave it there. We've got
Nobody knows how hard it is for us to record and put with Mr. K.
So, exactly. You've done it for what was that? 10 episodes, 2 hours a pop. I know. You're very welcome, Root. You're very, very welcome. You get 2 hours with me every week. And the videos I send you on a Wednesday. Anyway, right then, everyone. That's the end of this podcast for this week, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Join us on Discord. Vote for next week's Tactic Corner, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Thank you.